Chapter 1001 Fantasy World, Transcendent Dragon. The Great Demon Director Wu Xin. As time passed, the audience's mood gradually eased. In addition, the huge three-dimensional image in the venue began to flicker. People's focus naturally shifted to this event. Compared to the audience on the scene, the public watching the live broadcast all over the world were more excited. Because they had never been led by the gods. So in their perspective, the god of magic opened the passage to the other world with unimaginable power. More than 1,000 players were teleported there. At this time, they looked at the grand three-dimensional image in the live broadcast. Small stars with countless aurora rings, which were very different from the real world, floated in the sky. They were not as far away from each other as natural stars. Anyone who has read the comic poem of Bronze and Ancient Dragons will be familiar with such scenes. There is the ancient dragon battlefield, or more accurately, the fantasy world. If you have read the sequel of Poem of Bronze and Ancient Dragons, you will know the comic background setting of the fantasy world. It is a fantasy interface created by the ancient dragon emperor who is said to have the rank of quasi-god, referred to as the fantasy world. The fantasy interfaces rely on the various life planets in the real interface and are transit stations connecting many planets. At the same time, it has an extremely terrifying time difference with the real interface. 1 day in reality, 1 year in fantasy interface. This design is based on various considerations. The biggest consideration is the lifespan of the ancient dragon. Is this the ancient dragon battlefield? It looks really gorgeous. On a star with a diameter of thousands of kilometers in the ancient dragon battlefield. The wizards who were teleported here looked around. They looked at the colorful aurora in the sky and other strange stars not far away. Compared to the audience at the scene of the great magician's martial arts, the wizards who participated in the competition were more excited. Especially those wizards of SS level or even SSS level were more heroic. They who have experienced the perspective of the gods are more eager for higher level power. Although the gods are too far away from them. But the magic secret that can lead to the true god level is very close. As long as they can become immortal gods through the magic secret, they will be able to have that charming scene sooner or later. Oh! Was that a dragon just now? What a scary guy, it could be. Forget it. Compared to this, the protagonist of the comic is more important now. Kaido, standing on the mountain, looked at the ground in the distance. He could see countless lights flashing in the distance. After the light faded, countless magical races could be seen walking on the ground or flying. Those races included sub-dragons, elemental giants, monsters in various animal and even plant shapes, and various subhumans. All these races are dragonkinds created by dragons. And in the direction above the dragonkinds, one after another, burly dragons stood in the sky, watching the races under their command start fighting coldly. The war is starting to rage. Abigyuts, are you excited to see this scene? Kaido looked at the dragons who were starting to fight and asked in his heart. The battle between the dragon lords. It's really eye-opening. It's different from the world I live in. A majestic voice rose from Kaido's heart, and the source was the god of the Sky Dragon King who was received by Kaido's magic. The last time it fought Kaido. In the end, it was inferior in skills in a head-on confrontation. Therefore, it did not break its promise and promised to help Kaido when the great magician was fighting. And this time it came to the scene. It was still quite satisfied, at least it had experienced the perspective of the god. This was of great benefit to its understanding of space. Oh! As long as you are satisfied, our goal is the protagonist. If we can really get that dragon horn, it doesn't matter if the magic secret doesn't want it. Of course, it's best to have both. Kaido communicated with the Dragon King of the Sky in his mind while inspecting the giant dragons in the sky. He is looking for the protagonist of the comic. Poem of Bronze and Ancient Dragons was created by a bronze dragon of the Yuan-Long species. This comic is deeply loved by the giant dragons. After all, there are many lower-class dragons. The protagonist of the comic can resonate well with those lower-class dragons. Therefore, Kaido, who has always paid attention to the dragon group, should not miss this comic that is widely circulated among dragons. Kaido has also read its sequel Ancient Light and Shadow. Although the protagonist of this sequel has changed. But the protagonist who made the ancient dragon in the ending of Poem of Bronze and Ancient Dragon also shines in the sequel. Because it has become one of the biggest background boards of this world view, the ancient dragon Emperor Kinjao. And the reason why it can cross from the ancient dragon to the ancient dragon and the ancient dragon, and directly advance to the ancient dragon emperor comparable to the quasi-god heaven level. All the reasons are its golden finger, the mysterious dragon horn. It is that dragon horn. The ancient dragons who manage the real planet here fought each other, so that all died in the ancient dragon battlefield and needed to wait for the next fantasy world cycle to revive again. This process directly allowed the protagonist's ancestors to take advantage of the situation, and then the protagonist inherited it. Ha ha ha, you have a good idea. Aren't you afraid that the disappeared evolutionary dragon emperor will reappear and chop you up? Abigail's voice was full of sneers. It has also read that comic. The most important thing in the main god space is of course to catch up. Therefore, it knows that it has read this comic. The setting of the dragon horn in the sequel is the legacy of the evolutionary dragon emperor who transcends the world and ascends to a higher dimension before transcendence. Even if it is the protagonist of the sequel, the golden finger is still the dragon horn of creation. I'm really not afraid. The exaggerated guy just now is most likely the transcendent evolutionary dragon emperor. K has obviously reached a consensus with the god of magic. What's wrong with me doing what I want to do at the specified time? And I'm also a dragon. Kaido still feels very stable. He thinks he is also a dragon. Although it is a dragon of the fantasy beast system, does such a big evolutionary dragon emperor still have system discrimination? It doesn't matter who uses it. A dragon horn that can promote the continuous evolution of abilities. If he doesn't grab such a good thing, will he leave it to the protagonist to celebrate the new year? Chapter 1002 Battle, Push the Door. No. The protagonist is not on this planet, let's go to other planets to look for him. Kaido scanned the planet with a diameter of thousands of kilometers through breath perception. After confirming that the protagonist was not here, he immediately planned to run to other planets. This fantasy world is not big. But there are also 88 planets of different sizes and many floating meteorites. The 88 planets actually correspond to the constellations of the 88 constellations under the command of the god of the Star Palace in the world. Obviously, the giant dragon who created this comic book still did some research and did not just draw it randomly. But Kaido doesn't care about these. He only knows that the protagonist has come to the planet representing Leo. Now all he had to do was find the protagonist to grab the dragon horn, and then kill enough dragons to get points. With the power of Abigail's, he had a huge advantage. Receive the heart of Abigail's. A dark magic circle flashed and rotated above Kaido's head. The next moment, his posture changed drastically, turning into a dragon man. This dragon man form was different from his usual human beast form. The dragon scales on his body shone like black pearls, and the black horns on his head rose straight up, as if to pierce the sky. The stretched out black dragon tail flashed casually, and a black horizontal line was drawn in the air. That's receiving magic. Kaido, the beast actually received the god of the Sky Dragon King. As Kaido took action, many wizards who were paying close attention to Kaido broke out in cold sweat. For Kaido, a man who has been very popular in the sea recently, the wizards attach great importance to him. They were very curious about what kind of magic this man who had never shown magic in the past had learned. But they never expected that Kaido actually accepted that god of the Sky Dragon King. God of the Sky Dragon King. He had a big battle with the Shenlong species 2 days ago and burst out with shocking strength. Now, he was accepted so quietly. Isn't this a joke? It's over. I'm afraid one of the magic secrets will be reserved. That god of the Sky Dragon King is so strong that he can fight against the gods without losing. With such a trump card, Kaido of the Beasts will be rampant. Hey! That guy is gone. Watching Kaido of the Beasts use space magic to tear up the space transfer. The magicians who originally saw Kaido's transformation also became more stable. Some magicians even thought of something and showed an expression of sudden enlightenment. But no matter what they think, they couldn't relax anymore. Because the giant dragons standing in the sky far away were attracted by Kaido's explosive power and found the abnormality here. Soon, the dragons in a distant battlefield seemed to have received an order and stopped fighting. Then they looked straight at this side. Then, countless monsters rushed in like a torrent. Some monster leaders even started to use SS-level super magic before they came over. The sky was full of fire. Countless meteorites flickered with red flames. Like a meteor sliding across the sky quickly. There were countless lightning chains flashing and crawling on the ground, faster than the sound, coming in an instant. Boom! So spectacular! So awesome! This is the other world, this is the ancient dragon battlefield. At this time, Ace watched the endless thunder raging outside. The hills around them were pierced and exploded, splashing countless gravel and dust. His eyes lit up. You still have the mood to sigh here, really? At this time, he was flipping through the magic book in his hand. The book was rotating magic circles to form a 10-meter barrier that covered her and the surrounding navy. If she hadn't taken action, Ace wouldn't have been able to be so leisurely. After all, he is actually only an A-class wizard now. Although his combat power is higher because of the special magic taught by Tianhuo. But facing SS-level magic, even SS-level magic for group attacks, it is impossible for him to deal with it easily. Of course, the most important reason for Ace's relaxed mentality is that the God of Magic Secrets has left a life for each participant. Even if they really die, they can be resurrected. This is why everyone can still remain calm. Some wizards who think more, they were originally afraid that the background board of this world would come out to mess with them. But seeing that the giant dragon that rotates the world has reached an agreement with the God of Magic Secrets, this concern disappeared. Lieutenant General T. Penjin, it seems that we are being teleported to a planetary battlefield representing the 12 zodiac constellations. This kind of planet is mostly where the giant dragons of the first-class dukes and even the dragon kings fight. It's not something you can reach. Take Ace and the others to the planet representing the bronze constellation, he said to Lieutenant General T. Penjin next to him. She then cast her eyes on another gentleman wearing glasses in a black suit next to him. His outfit was somewhat out of tune with the other navy. Because he was not a member of the navy, but a member of the Xiang cult who believed in the sun god. This time, the great demon director was fighting. Because the Xiang cult had a close relationship with the navy, it directly joined forces with the navy. Qinjian, it's okay to leave this matter to you, right? Of course it's okay, Staff Officer He. Qinjian pushed his eyes and looked at the group of suspended meteorites vaguely visible in the sky, and smiled confidently. The stars in the fantasy world are very close to each other. With countless meteorites floating between the stars, there is also an atmosphere that can survive. With my magic. As Qingyan paused, he crossed his hands. A magic circle with a diameter of several meters rotated on the ground at the edge of the barrier. A tightly closed blue bronze door rose from the magic circle. Clang! Squeak! The heavy bronze door automatically opened, revealing the blue vortex inside. This is based on Qingyan's own unique teleportation magic, pushing the door. It may be because he has the ability of the door fruit, which affects his magic awakening. In short, he awakened the so-called ability to teleport people to all the places where his eyes are as long as he opens the door. Of course, it's just a boast. In fact, there is a limit to this sight. But at least for now in the fantasy world, he can indeed use the meteorites floating in the sky as a transit station to achieve the crossing between the stars. Very good. Hurry up, the meteorite is coming down. After hearing what he said, Ace didn't talk back and followed everyone out. Although he was unwilling to represent the planet of the Bronze Star Palace. But the situation was urgent and he was too strong for him to handle. So he planned to do something after leaving he. Chapter 1003 For Elephant Dragon Slayer Magician, Chaos Dragon Slayer Magic. Boom! A group of meteorites in the sky. On a certain meteorite, a blue magic circle slowly rotated, and a bronze door emerged from it. Clang! Squeak! As the bronze door was pushed open, a group of magicians walked out one after another. They were the navy and the magicians of the Blazing Sun cult who left the ground. Boom! It's really spectacular. At this time, Ace was standing on the 1,000-meter-long meteorite under his feet. Looking at the densely packed light balls bursting out of the surface of the planet below, he showed a shocked expression. After all, it was the first time to personally see such a spectacular battle scene. Even those wizards who had personally experienced various big scenes behaved a little out of control. Not to mention him, a 10-year-old rookie. While Ace was sighing, T. Penjin next to him suddenly changed his expression. Clang! He directly drew out the magic sword at his waist. Right-angle bird annihilation. With T. Penjin's rapid attack, countless blue flashes began to burst out in front of him. Swish, swish, swish. Dang, dang, dang. The originally invisible atmosphere had countless wind lines similar to lines that continuously collided and exploded with T. Penjin's attacks. The collision of the two forces directly triggered a tidal shock wave. The shock waves were sharp and cold. It made everyone feel cold all over. Only Ace, who was protected by T-Pen, did not feel this way. Dang, dang. Bang. Accompanied by a violent explosion. The surface of the 1,000-meter meteorite under T-Pen's feet was directly cut into pieces by the shockwave. A corner area was directly cut and disintegrated. However, he still defended those sharp wind lines after all. Pa, 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 pa. Accompanied by the vigilance of the crowd. A figure walked out slowly from the dust, clapping as he walked. It's him. Doflamingo, the helmsman of the North Sea New World Alliance. Looking at Minga in a flamingo costume walking with arrogant steps. Many people present couldn't help but sweat. Because the man in front of him is one of the most difficult men in the sea, and he is good at dealing with various major forces. With the authority of holding the strongest god-annihilating tool, he is like a fish in water among the major forces. He can enjoy the most cutting-edge results of human exploration in various systems and fields, and he also dares to try these results. His strength has risen all the way. In the field of magic pattern users alone, his level is as high as the quasi-god level. In the field of wizards, he practices the dragon-slaying magic chosen by many ambitious people. And it is not ordinary dragon-slaying magic. It is rumored that the 4-element dragon-slaying wizard, which was studied by chaos user CLO, can use 4 types of dragon-slaying magic. Of course, this is not the most shocking thing. It is rumored that the 4-element dragon-slaying wizard can use chaos dragon-slaying magic as long as it reaches the quasi-god level. And Doflamingo is the most cutting-edge result of the 4-element dragon-slaying wizard. He has already reached the level of SSS level wizards. He can verify the theory as long as he enters the quasi-god level wizard. Such a monster is now targeting them. They can't help but call it bad luck in their hearts. At this time, Doflamingo stopped clapping, laughing and looking at T-Pen. As expected of a man who has learned extreme wind magic, he can actually block my wind dragon killing magic. That dragon in the 12th seat, no, it should be Miss D, that guy should be pleased to see it. Looking at Minga looking at him unscrupulously. T-Pen stood in front of Ace. He bent his body slightly, holding the magic sword tightly with his fingers, and his palms were sweating. Doflamingo, you suddenly attacked us, do you want to fight with our navy? Fight. YENEEC trademark AEAAE. I was just saying hello to you. It's just that I greeted the little brat that my dear brother loves so much that I greeted him a little harder. Trademark. You really said it was a little harder? After hearing Ming Ge's nonsense, many Navy officers roared and complained in their hearts. They were not interested in Ming Ge at all. If Vice Admiral T Peng En had not noticed those attacks just now, they might have been cut into pieces by the wind silently. They naturally hated Ming Ge after escaping death. But now they dare not act rashly. Because the gap in strength is really big. Zhu Xiang twisted his lips. I just hope to see the little brat that my dear brother loves. Zero seeking flowers. Little brat, are you still going to hide behind the adults? Come out to see your uncle. Ace, who was blocked by T Peng En, was also angry when he heard Ming Ge's disdainful tone. He walked out and faced Ming Ge, angrily scolding him. You guy! I don't have an uncle like you who looks like a turkey. Like a turkey? Hearing Ace's description, Ming Ge was stunned for a moment. Then he laughed again. What a lovely little brat! Little brat! I have a little conflict with my brother now. Can you help me persuade him? Persuade you, big brat? I will tell Mr. Rosinante to never talk to you again. 0. Sure enough, a little brat like you would look better if you turned into fireworks. Boom boom. Ming Ge hadn't finished speaking yet. Ace followed the idea of striking first and then being strong and took action directly. The first move was his strongest move. Emperor Ji Yang. A fireball of dozens of meters burst out directly. It directly submerged the area where Ming Ge was. Then, it continuously pushed through the bright flames. If this move was normal, it would definitely be praised by everyone. However, they were too busy to care about anything else now. Qing Yan, hurry up. Open the door and let us run away. Hearing the urging of the people next to him, Qing Yan's face was helpless. He wiped the sweat from the corners of his face and said seriously. I can't help it. I'm locked. I'm afraid I'll be attacked as soon as I move. As the wind raged, the dust and smoke dissipated at the location where Ming Ge was, and the flames flickered more and more red. It seems there are still smart people. Qinjian of Xiang sect, I am still very interested in your Xiang sect. If there is a chance, maybe we still have a lot of room for cooperation. Of course now it's the great demon director Wu. So don't blame me. Amid the swaying flames, Brother Ming's voice fell. The terrifying 4 elemental torrents began to roar and rush past. The roar of the 4 elephant dragons. Again. Chapter 1004 4 Extreme Magic Secrets, you had said it earlier. The grand elemental torrents intertwined and destroyed everything. The meteorite where Brother Ming landed also dissipated with the complete collapse. The 4 color streams intertwined and turned into a tornado that enveloped the area thousands of meters in front of him. The tornado also attracted the surrounding meteorites, but was directly destroyed when it approached. Then next time I go to him for cooperation, he will definitely understand my good intentions. Ming Ji was standing on another 100-meter-long meteorite at this time, looking up to the sky with his arms wide open, and the corners of his mouth were extremely raised. This action was completely impulsive on his own. It just so happened that he had this idea when he saw that little devil. After all, his cute brother always refuses to give in, which makes it difficult for him. As a brother, he obviously wants to reconcile with him. Hey! Ming Ji smiled a few times and then his smile faded a little. He looked at the gradually dissipating elemental torrent in front of him, the white light barrier revealed in the tornado, and the empty field in the barrier. Did he run away? You didn't leave this good thing to your brother but gave it to that little devil? It's really a waste of resources. My brother. After muttering a few words, Ming Ji looked at a meteorite in the distance. He could feel the breath of the navy from that location. But Ming Ji still planned to go there. After all, he was not really idle. The most important thing now was to find the dragon protagonist. He was also very interested in the evolved dragon horn held by the protagonist. Today. When Ming Ji turned around and took 2 steps to take off with the Wind Dragon Slayer magic, he suddenly froze and jumped. At the same time, the meteorite under Ming Ji's feet shot out countless hard stone spears like a peacock spreading its tail. Swish, swish, swish. After dodging a wave of stone spear attacks in midair, Ming Ji found a new foothold. Da-da-da. The empty but meteorite-filled meteorite circle echoed. Doflamingo, I saw you bullying our navy from a distance. Do you think our navy is empty? A sound of hanging bells came. Ming Ji also saw the man with his hands in his trouser pockets, walking from the void with a somewhat similar arrogant pace. With every step, floating stones automatically formed a stone surface for him to walk on. Navy Admiral Candidate Chitun. Looking at the man, Ming Ji's face was solemn. He was still a little afraid of this man. Originally, he was just a mid-level SS-class Earth wizard. But later he showed the strength of an SSS-class wizard. Recently, he even showed the power of a quasi-god-level wizard, which was very popular in the sea. Many people assumed that this man was a reincarnation of the main god Space. For such a guy, Ming Ji himself did not want to provoke him. Therefore, he pulled up the corners of his mouth, spread his hands, and said with a smile. Chitun, I think you are seeing things. Shut up. Doflamingo, I don't want to listen to your nonsense. I must get back to today's situation. Otherwise, where will our navy's face be? At this time, Chitun said arrogant words while trying to pose in his preset poses. Now it's the great magician. I guess everyone in the world is watching. How could he not seize the opportunity to show off? I defend the navy so much, so I guess. Those juniors are now madly worshipping and admiring me. With a beautiful vision in his heart, Chitun posed more vigorously. He looked at Minga, whose face was gloomy, with a slight upward curve at the corner of his mouth. Come on. I want to see what level the so-called 4 symbols Dragon Slayer Mage is. Per 1000 OEAE plus or minus a superscript 1 yen C. Navy Chitun, are you sure you want to get involved with me here? Minga covered his sunglasses with a big hand. He looked at the other 11 small planets with diameters of more than 1,000 kilometers in the distance. On the surface of one of the planets, a light of black and blue was flashing. 0. Look. Kaido, the beast, has been found. So, your choice is. Chitun, with his hands in his trouser pockets, also saw the flashing black and blue light in the distance, and he was silent for a while. While he was silent, Minga added a few more words. For a navy with potential like you, I still prefer it. Aren't you an Earth wizard? Senior of our family is the owner of the magic secret pole. We welcome wizards like you. If you don't mind, I can let you practice polar magic. I think this will be of great benefit to you. For a guy like Shitun who has potential, Minga began to recruit him subconsciously. Even the inducement he offered was very significant. This is especially true for earth magicians. Among the 12 magic secrets, there are 4 extreme magic secrets: earth, wind, water, and fire. These 4 extreme magic secrets are not the lower level of the magic secret chaos, but the extreme exploration of the 4 elements. Gravity and hardness evolved from the polar earth, annihilation and freedom evolved from the polar wind, burning and heat evolved from the polar fire, and hardness and softness evolved from the polar water. As long as magicians of the same attributes learn these extreme magics, not to mention other things, at least there can be a qualitative change in combat power. Tisk tisk tisk. You really spent a lot of money. Doflamingo. Hearing the attractive conditions offered by Brother Ming 0.5, Shitun's face showed an extremely strange expression. What a pity. If you had said it earlier, I might have hesitated. But it's impossible now. Shitun's heart was bleeding as he spoke. As a ground magician, how could he not be jealous of polar magic? But now he doesn't need it. Because he has already learned polar magic in the main god space and directly learned it to the SSS level. If he had known that he could get it for free from Brother Ming, he would definitely not spend that money in vain, which would save a lot of money. At that time, he could even use the saved money to directly learn quasi-god level polar magic. Chapter 1005 Explode the Reality. Shatter the Spirit. Shitun knows. Unless he waits for Senio, who has obtained the polar magic secret, to be promoted to a quasi-god. Then he can learn the polar magic of the quasi-god level from him. Otherwise, he will not get it for free. But this is simply impossible. Because he can't wait. It is very urgent for him to improve the level of polar magic. Now he has understood the main god space. The matching mechanism depends on the level of the reincarnation. If the combat power of the same level is not strong, you can wait to eat the leftovers in the competition, and even there is a risk of life. After all, the original god space is not a vegetarian. If the combat power is not improved, you may be stopped by those wolf-like god chosen, and you may be killed on the spot. Hey! It's too much now. It would be great if it could be like before. Shitun's mind flashed back to the time when he first entered the main god space to do the mission. At that time, it was like carrying a sack to pick up money. Then think about it now. He couldn't help but feel a little melancholy. Then, his face became tough and he stretched out his hands from his trouser pockets. The wind began to blow, blowing his cloak. Doflamingo. It's useless even if you talk to the sky today. You do it if you say it. 08U. Polar Yuan Yang. As Shitun made his move, 2 huge magic circles of more than 10 meters directly rotated around Minga quickly. This is... Minga looked at the magic circles rotating around him. The extremely complex magic array pattern and the deep color that tended to be dark yellow. His face changed directly. Polar magic. And this kind of attainment. With a flash of shock in his mind, Ming Ge also quickly protected himself. Boom! The huge roar continued to resound. This meteorite belt was wrapped in terrifying gravity and smashed towards Ming Ge's position. Under infinite gravity, the gaps between the soil and rocks began to be compressed rapidly. Soon, a high-density sphere of tens of meters hung high in front of Cha-Tun. Not only that, the terrifying gravity made the sphere burst out with terrifying high heat, making it seem like a scorching sun appeared here. The flames raged, and the dazzling light continued to transmit to the distance. Looking at the scene in front of him, Cha-Tun stretched out his hand to pull down his dome hat slightly, and then turned handsomely. The cloak fluttered freely on the scorching sun, as if carrying Mars. I'm afraid those juniors and seniors who watched the live broadcast are fascinated by me. He thought so in his heart. Then he put his hands in his pockets and prepared to leave with a step that was as ruthless as if he didn't recognize anyone. In Shitun's opinion, if Doflamingo really knew what was good for him, he should just lie down and pretend to be dead and wait for him to leave. This way he would have a perfect ending, and Minga himself could avoid a trouble, and everyone would have a bright future. It's just that Shitun's idea was good. But Minga didn't think so. Boom! The violent elemental torrent came out from there like a sharp sword. The high-hanging scorching sun burst out, turning the entire scorching sun into a hedgehog. Bang! With a deafening loud noise, the entire scorching sun exploded. Countless magma crystals burst out and flew in all directions. Strands of four-color light particles with different colors also drifted away, looking extremely gorgeous and dazzling. Navy T-Pig, are you ready to escape? It seems that you are just strong on the outside, you don't really think I'm afraid of you. But a mere candidate for the General Minga floated in the air, and he looked at Shatun's back. The terrifying magic power was constantly bursting out from him and locked onto Shatun. Veins climbed on Minga's forehead. For him. Not everyone can jump on his head and ride on him. At least, Shatun is not qualified. Now Minga has changed his mind and wants to cut this bastard who completely ignored his kindness and didn't give him face into slag. What a headache. It would be better for everyone if you could pretend to be dead. Shatun turned slightly, stretched out his left hand from his trouser pocket and waved it, with a look of regret. Seeing Shatun's attitude, Doflamingo laughed a little. He is also a quasi-god-level magic pattern user. Although he can't use the power of the magic pattern user because of participating in the Great Magic Director's martial arts, the foundation is there. With this foundation plus the power of the SSS level 4 Elephant Dragon Slayer Wizard. Even if Shatun is really proficient in polar magic, he is not afraid, not to mention. Humph. If you rely on polar magic, then I will tell you what a wrong decision this will be. Ming Ji said, and took out a small stone statue of a man in a suit from his body in Shatun's eyes, which looked a little bad. Shatun knew the person who carved the stone statue. That's why he felt even worse. Because the statue was senior, who possessed the secret of polar magic. It seems that you are afraid sometimes. Get ready to experience it. After the magic is invalid. Before Ming Ji finished speaking, the planet not far away burst out an extremely violent golden light column, which pierced the sky. Under Ming Ji's horrified eyes, the large torrent of dragon species surging on the surface of the planet below was breaking rapidly, like an illusion. Even the planet seemed to be shattered and turned into an illusion. What is that? When Ming Ji looked at the surface in shock, the players on the ground below were even more shocked. Because when they were entangled with those powerful dragons and even giant dragons, a girl shouted, explode. Reality. Shatter, spirit. Disappear. This world. This line that sounded a bit awkward to them. 733 whole world seemed to be really disappearing. Those dragons and even giant dragons were also breaking rapidly. Even if they were not affected, they began to fall because their footholds became illusory. What was that just now? That girl seemed to be the emerging mysterious and powerful magic eye user Liu Hua, but how could her magic eye have such power? Many wizards on the battlefield were puzzled. They were confused, but the girl Liu Hua was happy. Mare, look, I really succeeded. Liu Hua shook the purple hair on her head and looked at Mel next to her with a blushing face. Moer looked at her expectant eyes, touched her head, and stroked her hair. Then he smiled softly. Got it. Our Liu Hua is the best. Hearing Moer's words, Liu Hua was a little shy. How could it be? I'm still far behind. Compared to those seniors, she must be far behind. Liu Hua is still self-aware of this, but her heart is still floating with joy. Because Moer said our Liu Hua. Is he proposing to her? Should she agree directly? Would it be unreserved to agree directly? Little Liu Hua's hair shook with her thoughts, looking very magical. Chapter 1006 Krypton Gold Magic, Main Krypton Gold Cheating. Okay, stop thinking about it. Looking at Liu Hua's little head thinking about it, Moer held Liu Hua's little face and pinched it. Let's go. It's time to go to the next planet. Although you have mastered the essentials, you are not proficient yet. You can try slowly next time. Just now, Liu Hua made a move to turn many dragon species, giant dragons, and even the surface of the planet into bubbles. The principle is a move derived from the law of existence, which can erase existence. Especially here, it is more effective. Because this is a fantasy interface, the power supporting the fantasy interface is floating. Obviously, the erasure of existence in reality and fantasy interface is two different levels of difficulty. The dragon species and giant dragons who came to the fantasy world are in a strange state. Even if they die here, they can return to reality intact. You can say that. The fantasy interface is a gift from the fantasy ancient dragon emperor to all giant dragons. Even if the giant dragons have any conflicts, they will not have any problems fighting to the death here. Of course, this has become a big flaw for Liuhua, who can use the law of existence. A direct existence erasure eliminates the existence foundation of those giant dragons and dragon species here. Send them back to reality on the spot. The participating wizards were spared because of their different states of existence. Okay, I'll go now. Rika felt the slender fingers gently sliding across her cheeks, and her face became more and more red. While silently savoring the touch of the fingertips in her heart, she finally started to act. Swoosh! Her golden eyes shone, and she began to cross the space in this fantasy interface. In this fantasy interface, she felt omnipotent because she could use the law of existence. Soon, as she crossed the space and left, the surface of the planet, which had originally turned into a bubble, began to be quickly repaired by the fantasy world and solidified again. This made some wizards who had been falling down unlucky. Some were directly crushed to death or even suffocated by the restored strata. The restoration of the fantasy world does not depend on whether there are people. At most, the location of the foreign objects will not be restored deliberately because of the presence of foreign objects. This is to prevent some wizards from experiencing the wonderful feeling of death when their bodies merged with the soil and rocks. It is precisely because of this. A considerable number of wizards still broke free from the re-solidified strata. After all, at least they are a wizards per capita. Without some survivability, let alone slaying the dragon, I am afraid that even the dragon's followers under the command of the dragon cannot survive. Gone. That girl is really scary. Even the first-class royal dragon comparable to the crown level was killed instantly by that move. It's just a little weird. Some of the magicians who survived stood on the re-solidified ground. They looked at the direction where the girl disappeared, with shock and a little unspeakable feeling on their faces. In their field of vision, except for attacking, the girl Rika stood there and talked to herself at other times, as if someone was chatting with her. But no matter how they sensed, they didn't find anything unusual. In this case, either the girl had a mental problem, or there was really a person next to her. Anyway, no matter which case, some terrifying scenes made them dare not approach the girl. Hey! Whatever. That girl is so scary, she must have a share of the magic secret. Not to mention anything else, just with that move just now, she didn't know how many dragons she killed. The points must have exploded. When a large group of magicians wailed. In front of a crescent-shaped broken mountain, Crane looked at the man with a guide stick next to him. Governor of Life, what are your plans next? Only after hearing Crane's question did Fujitora come back to his senses. The reason why he was stunned was because the situation of the girl made him feel familiar. He had been to the land of miracles before, met the King of Miracles and the God of Holy Light that others could not see. Although it was only a flash. But at that time, even as a blind man, he still saw it. Now this situation seems to be repeated again. That girl probably also has unparalleled potential. Although he thought so in his heart, Fujitora only sighed in his heart. Staff Officer Crane, I will listen to your arrangements next. Fujitora's answer made Crane feel satisfied. If Fujitora is willing to cooperate, then the probability of their navy obtaining the magic secret is still relatively high. It's a pity. He thought that during the third great magic martial arts, Fujitora had the opportunity to obtain the magic secret, but he gave it to someone else in the end, which always made her feel regretful. Governor of Life, next you go to another planet representing the zodiac. When you do, don't worry too much. In this great magic martial arts, your magic will definitely have a chance to get the top 3. I understand. Fujitora began to stand on a floating stone, and after nodding slightly to he set off. Watching Fujitora rise into the air, he was also relieved. The reason why she didn't leave with Ace and the others was to popularize the plot of this world with Fujitora. Even though Fujitora, who was blind, was interested in some comics. But the content involved was limited after all, and he was worried that Fujitora didn't know some information and couldn't do his best. I hope he can really listen to it. After mumbling a few words with his head down, he began to take out the magic book. Since her own magic is quite special and not suitable for common use, she also studied the magic known as Krypton Gold magic, dress-up magic. There are many series of dress-up magic. The most popular one is the dress-up magic collector. It can store various magic props, and the characteristic is that the storage space is large enough. She studied the dress-up magic scholar. It can only store magic books, and the characteristic has a great bonus to magic books. Although this bonus is not very meaningful for the magic book in her hand, After all, the magic book in her hand was made by Rosinandi. The main feature is a Krypton gold cheat. She has several magic books of this level, one for each SSS level special magic. In order to win the first place in the Great Magic Show, she has pried a lot of navy funds and rare materials. If the final result is not ideal, he can imagine the big face of Zhang Guo frowning into a frown at this time. Illusionary teleportation. As the pages of the magic book turned, white magic circles surrounded her. Soon, Crane's figure disappeared on the spot. Chapter 1007. Kaido almost had a stroke, praising the Supreme Being. In the depths of the misty dream realm, an extremely huge and majestic dragon came out of its sleep. He slowly opened his eyes. K's gaze seemed to penetrate space, looking at an area where K's perception was broken. Interesting, I feel that part of the foundation of the fantasy world has been broken. There is such power. Has the dragon clan given birth to another giant dragon with extraordinary talent? The dragon slowly stretched its body and began to stand up. The fantasy world was shaking because of K. Let me go over and take a look. When the dragon set off, it didn't know that the strange giant dragon in charge of this world was staring at this scene indifferently. K is about to go over. Won't you stop it? In the void, a figure standing not far from the strange giant dragon asked directly. This figure was the god of magic mystery. After teleporting many contestants to this world, K also came to the world and came to the world consciousness in charge of this world. The reason why the god of magic mystery acted in this way was also because of the fourth grand magic director martial arts. It was because the god of magic and mystery followed the order of the giant god of magic and contacted the world court of the source realm that this result came about. Although the process was not good, but there was a result after all. I am only responsible for providing the battle stage. As for how the dragons inside act, I will not interfere. The strange dragon set his eyes on the god of magic and mystery next to him. If you are dissatisfied, you can tell the world court. Hehe, it's really strange. As a world consciousness, your temper is also quite special. Is this because this world originated from dragons, or is it because of the so-called transcendent dragon emperor? Compared to the result of the great magician's martial arts, I am more curious about this. The god of magic and mystery did not shy away from expressing his curiosity. As a magic explorer, maintaining full curiosity has always been K's proposition. According to the result determined by the great goddess Anank, evolve the Dragon King into my incarnation. My personality is not affected by other factors, I just adapt better. The strange dragon did not hide anything about the god of magic's curiosity. Is that so? So is it because of the evolutionary law? After satisfying his curiosity, the void fell silent, and the god of magic did not make any other moves. 4K. It doesn't matter even if the ancient Dragon King interrupts the competition. As long as this period of time is enough for the players to compete, it will be considered the end. Other things are insignificant. In the fantasy world where the great magic director's martial arts is held, on the planet representing the 12 zodiac Leo, Kaido, the beast, is trying his best to be the protagonist of the poem of Bronze and Ancient Dragon. This is not easy, and it is even harder than Kaido imagined. At this point in time, the protagonist Alphaeus has become a member of the Dragon King. The Dragon King of this world is a quasi-god, so his strength is naturally very strong. Plus, the protagonist also has the evolved dragon horn, which makes his ability Bronze transformation extremely terrifying, and his combat power is also amazing. Of course, no matter how terrifying it is, Kaido still has a chance to get the dragon horn in his judgment. After all, he is not going to kill the protagonist. As long as the protagonist is not aware of defense, relying on the spatial power of Abigyuts, unexpectedly, he still has a lot of opportunities to get the dragon horn. Boom! Countless black lights burst out like black knives. The next moment, a burst of extremely condensed bronze ancient light surged out. The two sides collided, and the shock wave flew wantonly, swept out endless tornadoes. Even if Kaido borrowed the power of spatial turbulence, he could not gain the upper hand. When Kaido used magic with his bare hands to fight the bronze dragon flashing with green light on the opposite side, a strange and huge laugh suddenly interrupted directly. The sound was so loud that the sky trembled. Especially, it also contains extremely high-frequency ultrasonic waves. If ordinary people appear here, they will be deafened and have their livers ruptured on the spot. Even some dragons with ears on this planet can't help but frown when they hear it. However, the dragons don't care about the slight pain brought by this sound. They are more concerned about whether there is another uninvited guest at the scene. Boom! Sure enough, under the shocked look of the dragons standing on the surface, a huge blood flame tornado erupted directly from the distant sky. The blood flame fell from the sky, swept across the sky, climbed wantonly, and went straight to the Bronze Dragon Emperor standing high in the sky, facing another uninvited guest. The Bronze Dragon Emperor didn't care at all, but became more and more eager to fight. No matter how many powerful enemies there are, it doesn't matter. What can't defeat it will make it stronger. As long as the power that resides in its dragon horns remains, there is no opponent that it can't match in the world. Even if the legendary ancient dragon comes in person, it can still fight. The roar of the Bronze Dragon King. The blue light swept across the sky, colliding violently with the twisting blood flame tornado. Boom! Bang! The two attacks collided with each other for a while and then exploded directly. The blue light and blood light intertwined and turned into ripples that swept across the atmosphere, clearing the clouds suddenly. The blue light in the sky it quickly dissipated, but the blood dyed the sky red for a long time. He 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 he. The laughter sounded again, and a somewhat bloated figure had arrived. Boss Kaido, I haven't seen you for a while, it feels like a lifetime ago. You are here to take this guy's dragon horn, right? Let's join forces. Idiot. Kaido almost had a stroke before the man finished speaking. He saw the Bronze Dragon Emperor's face suddenly alert not far away and knew something was wrong. Originally he was still confident. As long as he waited for the Bronze Dragon Emperor to slack off, he could cut off the opponent's dragon horn. But now the difficulty is forced to explode. It's all the fault of the idiot in front of him. Kaido's copper bell eyes stared at the man fiercely. Red Bat, do you want to eat my mace? Don't think that you are following that Supreme Lord now, and your wings are hard. Looking at Kaido glaring at him, Red Bat's fleshy body trembled slightly, and he laughed. He 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 he. Boss Kaido, you are too serious. I'm not making trouble, it's just the Bronze Dragon King is powerful after all. With your current strength, it's impossible to take him down. So as a former subordinate, I'm here to do my part. Red Bat pretended to say so on the surface. He was extremely excited in his heart. If he was still the same strength as before, Kaido of Beasts would have killed him with a stick. Why would he chat with him here? The fragrance of strength is so wonderful. Praise the Supreme. It gives him the power to become famous in the world. Chapter 1008 The Virtue of the Strong, Riddler. Facing Kaido's anger, Red Bat was filled with emotion. He now fully understood what it meant to stand on the vent of the wind, even a pig can take off. Although he didn't want to belittle himself. But the reality is that he really has no merits. If we really want to find something worthy of praise, it is probably his increasingly improved flattering skills. Of course, in addition to this, the most important thing for him to take off is timing. It is precisely because of the great magic director martial arts that he was chosen by the Supreme to be given more terrifying power. He was originally rewarded with powerful demonic power. Now he is given the power of magic. Although his awakened magic is not very powerful. But the Supreme helped him to mutate his magic to become more powerful, and at the same time made him reach the limit of quasi-god magic. With such power, even Kaido, the beast, can't do anything to him. Boss Kaido, calm down. The most important thing now is the evolved dragon horn of the Bronze Dragon King. I think we should join forces to fight the enemy. I will do my best to assist you. When the guy with bat features in front of him mentioned the word evolved dragon horn, the Bronze Dragon King's eyes flashed with green light. Assist? I don't want you to assist me. At this time, Kaido couldn't stand it anymore, seeing the Batman still talking. He jumped up, his claws and dragon tail moved together. Like lightning and thunder, countless black lights passed directly on the red bat. Swish, swish, swish. The red bat was immediately torn into countless fragments by the black light. Then, an even louder sound broke out. The blood-like fragments burst directly, turning into countless blood-colored fluids that flew out. Boom! The sound of the explosion gradually dissipated. After a while, in Kaido's dark face, the red bat ran away. That's right. The red bat didn't want to come to help Kaido take the dragon horn at all, he really came to make trouble. The reason why he came? Just to convey a message to the Bronze Dragon King. lest the Bronze Dragon King really be plucked of the dragon horn by Kaido. And why he did this is also very simple. The phrase "I am afraid of my brother's suffering and I am afraid of my brother driving a Land Rover" can probably describe the very subtle emotions in his heart. You know, if Kaido really gets the evolution dragon horn, even if he really gets the magic secret, he will be suppressed by Kaido in the future. And if the former boss cannot surpass him or even is overtaken by him in the future, that's when he will truly say goodbye to the past and be reborn. Damn bastard! I will beat you to death next time I see you. Kaido hates Red Bat, the guy who messed up the situation. But now, he has to think about an extremely realistic problem. Facing the Bronze Dragon King who already knows his purpose, should he continue to force it or go to earn points first? If it is too difficult to continue to force it, others are earning points, and he is here to hold on. It would be funny if he loses both ends and becomes a joke. Audiobookseries, what do you think? Look with your eyes. When Kaido asked, Shenkong Dragon King couldn't help but think of a comic book, and subconsciously shivered. You guys are also starting to be unserious. Just a joke, Kaido. Hearing Kaido's incredulous tone, Shenkong Dragon King's tone remained calm. Then Shenkong Dragon King began to give his advice. You are just greedy. You want both. If you have overwhelming strength, this is the virtue of the strong. But obviously, you no longer have such conditions in the current situation. Then, you are a fool. The Dragon King of the Sky seemed to see Kaido's face full of question marks. So this is your suggestion? You don't believe me when I say you're stupid. I've made it very clear, do you still have to make me make it clear? Kaido seemed to feel that Audiobookseries was releasing his resentment from his previous defeat at this moment. However, he would not tolerate it. I hate riddlers the most. Audiobookseries, if you like being a riddler so much, I'll give you 100 detective comics to read later. Hearing Kaido's anger, Audiobookseries stopped being a riddler. It continued calmly. It's very simple. You've seen Ancient Light and Shadow before. The evolution dragonhorn has never been used by one person by default. Even the Ancient Dragon King can split the evolution dragonhorn into two, creating two new protagonists of Ancient Light and Shadow. Then find the God of Magic Secrets, and I guess he can divide it into as many parts as he wants. What do you mean? Audiobookseries continued to tell Kaido's story without waiting for him to finish. That's right, you go and unite other strong men. Haven't you been in contact with the Dark Curtain? Why don't you just learn from them? Get the dragonhorn first, then compete for the magic secret. Even if you don't compete for the magic secret, just getting a dragonhorn is enough to rival the magic secret. Such temptation is enough for them to agree. Especially if you ask, there is no reason not to succeed. After all, they will never refuse because they are afraid of my power. In this way, you can even take this opportunity to cooperate with various forces and strengthen yourself. Audiobookseries. At this time, Kaido's tone of reply to the God of Sky Dragon King was full of surprise. You guys have brains. Get lost. You have lived for so long, do you really think I can only rush? Okay, I've said it, make your own decision. I'll take a nap first. As the voice of the God of Sky Dragon King fell silent, Kaido's face also changed. To be honest, he really didn't want to share the evolution dragon horn. One person can definitely reach the quasi-god level of the ancient Dragon King by using the evolved dragon horn, but it is hard to say if it is divided into multiple parts. At least in Ancient Light and Shadow, the two protagonists each used half of the dragon horn, and when they were promoted to the level of the ancient dragon, the power of the evolved dragon horn was almost exhausted. The final ending. It was still because the two protagonists could complement each other in all aspects and resonate with each other that they were promoted to the sequence of the ancient Dragon King. Although he has never been promoted to a quasi-god. But you have seen pigs run even if you have never eaten pork. In various comics, quasi-gods and true gods are completely two different lives. It is definitely a loss to use such an opportunity to exchange for power development. However, the premise is still that he can get the dragon horn. Quickly calculate in your mind. Kaido finally compromised. If you want everything, you may have nothing. Swoosh. Kaido left. With space magic, he wanted to leave, and the Bronze Dragon King could not stop him at all. He could only let him go. However, after Kaido left, the Bronze Dragon King did not stand there in a daze, but began to quickly contact other Dragon Kings. This fantasy world had long been cut off from other fantasy worlds. Now an outsider suddenly appeared, and even knew its mysterious dragon horn. All these signs forced the Bronze Dragon King to put aside his grudges and prepare to unite with other dragon kings. For a while, the situation changed rapidly. Chapter 1009 Starfall, Blasphemy. Fantasy World. Libra, the planet representing the 12 zodiac constellations. Fujitora's figure stood on a floating stone, standing on the sky of this planet for a long time. His magic perception replaced his eyes to see the dragons rushing on the surface. War, blood, elegy, death. This is the struggle of interests. The pursuit of interests is ultimately driven by interests. Such a vortex, I can't escape it. Clang. As Fujitora drew out his staff sword, terrifying magic power also burst out from him. The magic power in the atmosphere also began to gather towards him crazily. Purple light flashed, and a purple light road began to extend under his feet. No one knew where it came from and where it would go. At this time, on the surface of the planet, a blue-scaled dragon that controlled endless gusts of wind was fighting fiercely with a figure. Even though the blue-scaled dragon was already an SSS-level dragon of the first-class prince, it was also easily suppressed by the figure in front of it. When the opponent was fighting with it, he harvested the lives of some dragons from time to time. This was a huge shame for the blue-scaled dragon, so its attack was even more crazy. Countless gusts of wind turned into ruthless tornadoes that destroyed the world and continued to rage. However, with the change of the magic power surging in the sky, it had to stop fighting. That's Navy Patrol Governor Fujitora. The man opposite the blue-scaled dragon looked at the sky with a solemn expression on his face. This man was no one else. It was Katakuri, the heavyweight player of the Big Mom Pirates. Katakuri also participated this time and was even very popular. In the betting market opened by the outside world, Katakuri's chance of winning the magic secret was not low. Reason it was he who mastered the extremely rare time magic. Although due to the dual existence of strong domineering and telekinesis system, he awakened magic later. But with the super high spiritual attribute of practicing telekinesis. After awakening magic, he used the time virtual realm to attract knowledge and then transformed magic power in the outside world. Without using the time virtual realm manifestation function, he directly reached the level of SSS level magician within a year. With such a level and the special magic he mastered, from the perspective of the public, he has great potential in this year's great magician. However, Katakuri now doesn't think so. He looked at the blind man in the sky. The man who made the Navy set up the sea patrol system and was respected by the majority of the Navy as the governor and the Grand Admiral. Looking at the road derived from the man's feet, Katakuri frowned. Has he become a quasi-god? Is it because of good luck or the two mysterious spaces circulating in the sea? Katakuri's thoughts were lingering in his mind. Since Chaos Envoy CLO became an SSS-level wizard, the god of magic mystery created the magic abyss for SSS-level wizards to become quasi-gods and complete the path to godhood. Although Katakuri has not yet entered the magic abyss, he knows that the place is very dangerous. However, all SSS-level wizards will basically not refuse to go there. Or it makes all wizards yearn for it. Because it can condense the magic and even transform people's qualifications and change their destiny. It is rumored that SSS-level wizards enter it. If you are lucky, you may become an SSS-level wizard the day before and become a quasi-god the next day. And Katakuri is thinking about whether Fujitora has this possibility. However, although his mind was turning a lot, Katakuri soon stopped thinking. Because his pupils shrank slightly. The huge star hanging in the sky that could be clearly seen seemed to be getting bigger. That guy actually made another star of the zodiac fall down. Can he do this? Seeing that the star in the sky that was bigger than a water tank was slowly getting bigger, Katakuri was shocked. He only knew that Fujitora had awakened the magic called gravity. Usually, Fujitora was not seen fighting with magic. But he didn't expect that this kind of magic could be achieved to this extent. Even if the stars representing the zodiac here are just over 1,000 kilometers. It is still shocking enough to do such a thing. What is that dragon family doing? How dare they blaspheme the ancient dragon emperor like this? At this time, the Kingland dragon began to roar angrily. Every fantasy world originated from the legendary ancient dragon emperor. Among them, the layout of the 88 stars is respected by many dragons. 0. Don't say that you don't have the ability. Even if you have the ability, you will not disrupt the layout of the 88 stars or even destroy them. This can be seen from the fact that the ancient dragons turned the fantasy world upside down and even destroyed it, but the 88 stars are still intact. Although the fantasy world will renew its own state every fantasy cycle. But no dragon will destroy the 88 stars of the fantasy world at will. After all, the warlike dragons can always prosper and prosper the starry sky. The existence of the fantasy world is absolutely the top priority. Therefore, Fujitora, who did such a bad thing, was immediately disgusted by all the dragons who witnessed this scene. Roar, roar, roar. Accompanied by the huge dragon roar. All dragons stopped the war, and some powerful dragons began to follow the dragons straight into the sky. The villain who did such a bad thing must be crushed to ashes. Katakuri watched the dragon on the opposite side being completely drawn away by Fujitora, and was in no hurry to continue attacking. Under the current circumstances, it was not suitable for him to continue to earn points. Oh! What a spectacular scene! It seems that I came at the right time, and I actually saw such a good scene. At this time, a heroic laugh came from Katakuri's side. The sound was deafening and shook the atmosphere. The laughter was from Kaido, who tore through space and came here. Kaido of Beasts, what are you doing here? Seeing 3.6 Kaido appear beside him. Katakuri's body was tense, and there was a trace of vigilance on his face. Even with time magic, Katakuri never thought he was invincible. The more powerful the magic, the more demanding it is to activate. If he faced an opponent of the same level with ordinary abilities, the power of time magic would be enough to offset this harshness. But this is not the case for Kaido of Beasts, who received the Divine Sky Dragon King. The power of space allows the opponent to ignore the distance and even catch the gap when he uses magic in time. Besides, the level of the God of Sky Dragon King is much higher than his level as a magician. As a result, he can't help but be vigilant. Oh! Don't be nervous, Katakuri. The reason why I came here is that I have something good to find you. Chapter 1010 Future Journey, he is here. Looking at Katakuri, he heard his face changed slightly when he heard what he said. Kaido knew that he had guessed something. After all, with his temper, he would come here suddenly because of huge benefits. After all, he did not hide the fact that he went to find the protagonist from the beginning. Anyone with a discerning eye could see it. It seems that you have guessed something. Yes, it is about the evolution of the dragon horn. Kaido did not waste words and briefly told him a little about his plan. For things like this, he would definitely look for a more reliable guy first. And Katakuri seemed very suitable to him. Not only because the Big Mom pirates are still his allies now, but also because Katakuri is powerful and has a good character. Cooperating with such a guy, Kaido felt that he didn't have to worry about backstabs at least. How about it? Such a good thing, I think you have no reason to refuse it. Kaido said while looking at the stars in the sky that were gradually getting bigger. The huge stars were getting bigger faster and faster. He just explained it in a short while. The giant star, which was originally the size of a water tank and was shining with various brilliances, had already covered nearly a quarter of the sky. The sky seemed to be burst by the approaching giant star. 11. You are right. I really have no reason to refuse. Katakuri also looked at the sky. But he was looking at the battle in the sky. At the border of the sky, the Navy Governor Fujitora had already clashed with those powerful dragons. Even if a giant star was falling, they still didn't care and vowed to tear the guy who blasphemed the ancient Dragon King into pieces. Very good. Katakuri. You won't regret cooperating with me. Let's go. I'll take you away. Wait, you go find someone else to cooperate with first. I need to stay here. Now is a good opportunity for me. Katakuri shook his head and rejected Kaido's kindness. Although it would be very dangerous if the star really fell, this danger was within his control. Oh. It seems that you have some ideas. Okay. In this case, I will leave first. I will come to you after I gather the candidates. Kaido acted decisively and left in a hurry. Because he felt a lot of pressure. The level of Fujitora was higher than the level circulated in the sea, and he was promoted to quasi-god without any sound. Such a level was enough to be valued by him. Plus the magic he showed now, it was simply a killer of the weak. A star fell directly. Even an SSS level wizard should avoid such an attack. Watching Kaido tear open the space and leave directly, Katakuri continued to look at the sky. He just watched the giant star grow bigger and bigger, as if it was going to fill the entire perspective. Such a move made the audience who were watching here in the real world feel nervous. Guhahaha. Dear audience. We can see that after the Navy's Governor Fujitora used the magic to destroy the world, Katakuri of the Big Mom Pirates was fearless in the face of danger and showed the demeanor of a strong man. What trump card does he have? How can he remain calm in such a world-destroying crisis? Let's wait and see. At this time, the great magic martial arts performance, with Morgan's loud voice resounding throughout the venue. Many audiences focused their attention on Katakuri. There were even many people who clasped their hands and prayed silently for Katakuri. Most of these praying audiences did not really care about Katakuri's safety. They just wanted their own money. After all, many people's fortunes were directly bet on Katakuri. Katakuri has reached the level of quasi-god in the system of telekinesis, and has reached the SSS level in the field of magicians, and also has a strong and rare time magic. As a result, the number of people who bet on him to obtain the magic secret is countless. These people prayed for Katakuri to be powerful, while cursing Fujitora in their hearts. They were disgusted with Fujitora's behavior of hiding his secrets. His level was higher than the outside world said, and the magic he used was so exaggerated, but he didn't show it normally. It was really abominable that he misled them. The gamblers felt that if they lost everything, then 99% of the reason should be attributed to this guy who hid his secrets. It's going to fall down. It's really an exaggerated magic. I wonder if Fujitora can pull the moon down in reality. In the red-haired pirate group in a corner of the audience, Loki stared at the image in front of him with emotion, and didn't even have time to chew the big meat leg. You think too much. The moon here is much bigger than the stars in that fantasy world. And in this world full of gods, how can the moon fall without the permission of the gods? Don't talk. While Hongo was chattering, Loki suddenly asked him to be silent. Because in the image, the two planets began to collide. The poem of Bronze and Ancient Dragons is a fantasy world. Boom! Accompanied by a huge and shocking grand sound. Countless high-temperature dust is expanding rapidly, sweeping across the nearby stars. The stars are crushing each other under the huge gravitational force. The surfaces of the two stars are beginning to crack with huge cracks. Countless geothermal magma bursts out from these large cracks, dyeing the stars red. Under this violent collision, the gravity balance of the stars is seriously unbalanced, and the gravity is sometimes large and sometimes small. High heat bursts between the collisions of the stars, causing the parts that collide with each other to begin to turn into lava and blend together. And 383 is in this high-temperature lava. A somewhat blurred figure is walking in it. This figure is Katakuri. At this time, his body is as ethereal as a phantom, walking in the hot and red lava without being affected at all. The reason why he can do this? It is because of the mystery of his time magic, the future walk. The principle is to freeze one's own state in the future. How can the current attack the future? This state allowed him to ignore the collision between planets and even walk freely in the lava. What a tenacious vitality! Katakuri shuttled through the red world in front of him like a ghost. Soon, he found some dying and incomplete dragons. Even the violent shock wave generated by the collision between planets and the subsequent high heat, suffocation, high gravity, etc. These failed to kill these SS-level dragons directly. They can even hold on for a while. Although the terrifying impact made their tough bodies full of holes. But the dragon's tenacious vitality and terrifying and unreasonable magic kept them alive. But if no one rescued them, with such a severely injured body in such a harsh environment, they would have to die. Under such circumstances, Katakuri is here. Of course, he is not here to save the dragons, he is here to earn points. Chapter 1011 Hunting, Magnificent World View. In the Red World, endless flames surged wantonly. The mutual crush of the two stars made this place have extremely high pressure and high heat. Even steel can only turn into surging iron juice here. But in such a harsh environment, some dragons are still hanging on. A figure walked in this red world like a ghost. It was Katakuri. He came in front of the dying dragons. After witnessing their miserable condition, his body shuttled through the bodies of the dragons one by one. With this action, many dragons died on the spot. Because their future was taken away. This is another use of Katakuri's time secret future walk. Define your own state as the future to avoid the harm of the present. But for the enemy, it is to take away the future. The future is taken away, and the present naturally cannot survive into the future. Most of these dragons are dying now. In this way, when the future is almost doomed and short, Katakuri is almost invincible when using this magic. As long as the dragons that were shuttled through, there was no dragon that did not die. After killing more than 20 SS level dragons, Katakuri stopped in front of a dragon covered with blue scales. This was a first-class SSS level dragon, and it was also the Wind Dragon King that Katakuri had fought before. Its dragon body was very special, and it had terrifying immunity to shock waves and even high heat. Even if it was hit by the impact of the collision of stars, it was still stubbornly repairing its body. Unlike other dragons, the Wind Dragon King could recover from injuries. This kind of material damage was not a big problem for it, as long as it was given time. However, Katakuri could not give it time. Damn it! You despicable dragon family, how dare you treat a dragon like this? I will definitely find you and tear you into pieces. Watching the guy who had been slaughtering its compatriots finally come to its eyes, the magic power of the Wind Dragon King began to roar. A huge blue shadow emerged with the last elegy of its magic power, and then oppressed Katakuri's spirit. But such a mental shock! It was like a breeze for Katakuri, who was in a special state now. First, I am not a dragon kind. Second, this is a hunt. You should have known it from the beginning when I took action. The tall Katakuri stood in front of the blue-scaled dragon. The wanton flames shuttled through his body. The white scarf covering the area under his nose seemed to dance with the molten flow. The heavy pupils flashed red, making him look full of oppression, and at the same time making people feel that he was very cool and handsome. At least in the territory of the Big Mom Pirates, there were fans of Katakuri watching the live broadcast and screaming, "Not a dragon kind? How is it possible?" The information revealed by Katakuri's words made the Wind Dragon King a little unbelievable. Because in this world, the formation of many life planets was caused by the decree issued by the Ancient Dragon Emperor. The Ancient Dragon is the supervisor, and the Ancient Dragon is the main force in star casting. The Ancient Dragon is the ecological regulator. A magnificent worldview built by the main forces of and management. Therefore, many planets with life. Except for giant dragons, most other life forms are dragon kind. Even in addition to dragon kind, there are natural species born from the long process of star making. But such natural species are scum compared to dragon kind, not to mention giant dragons. After all, although it took a long time for the ancient dragons to forge stars. But no matter how long it takes, it is much faster than the evolution of natural species. Many natural species do not even have wisdom, only instincts. This is because the magic power on the planet has accelerated the evolution of natural species. That's right. No matter what, the Wind Dragon King did not dare to believe that the guy in front of him, whose magic power was comparable to his, would be a species evolved naturally. Could it be the life planets created by the ancient Dragon Emperor in the most ancient period? I'm afraid only planets like that have enough time to evolve such life. Is this fantasy world opened up by such a place? With complex emotions intertwined in his heart, the Wind Dragon King was passed by the silent Katakuri. Then it began to break and dissipate, returning to the reality where it was. The consumption of magic power is very large. And Katakuri could feel that the two colliding and squeezing stars did not stop moving. The molten streams were quickly passing through his body, and the bright colors became lighter and lighter. This proved that the planet was still moving. Just not as fast as before. What exactly does that man want to do? Thoughts turned in his mind, and Katakuri began to leave quickly. Now his burden is a bit heavy. Magic power needs to be restored, and the burden on the spirit and mind also needs to be relieved. Continuously use the mystery of time. If he doesn't rest for this burden, he won't be able to exert his maximum strength later. If that were the case, it might make it more difficult for him to obtain the evolved dragon horn. He didn't want to argue with those guys who were cooperating with him. Swoosh! Quickly passing through the strata. Soon, Katakuri stopped outside the colliding star. He lifted the special state and looked at the man not far from him. Navy Governor Fujitora. I didn't expect you to do such a thing. Have you been accused by the pirates? This is probably a stain in your next life. Fujitora stood on the floating stone, looking at Katakuri, and laughed at himself. Accusation. I won't do such a boring thing. As long as you walk on your own path, you don't care about other people's opinions. Katakuri's eyes were heavy. His words seemed to be spoken to Fujitora, and also to himself. The picture began to flash in his mind. Zhao hao zhao. The picture of the Storm Dragon King fighting with another SSS level dragon and him sneaking up on him. Oh? It seems that you have the same helpless things as me. It's the Navy's duty to eliminate pirates, so I don't want to fight you at this time. Katakuri's figure disappeared before Fujitora completely pulled out his staff sword. The power of time magic flowed through him. It made his speed soar, and he quickly moved towards the position of the zodiac constellation on the other side. Watching Katakuri go away, Fujitora did not stop him. He pushed the staff sword back again. The white eyes looked at the two intertwined stars approaching another star. This is the imbalance of the celestial body, and it is also the result of his deliberate creation. Time is running out. When the stars are out of balance, they will eventually lead to the fiery sun song in the center. Everything will end at that time. Chapter 1012 Kaido gathers his fighting power and the battle begins. Boom! The huge roar sounded again. The two intersecting ellipsoidal stars collided directly with each other due to the mutual interweaving of gravity. There were originally countless high-temperature dusts spreading in this area. Now with the collision of the stars again, the terrifying shock wave swept even more. The new high-temperature dust expanded rapidly. The old high-temperature dust spread even more. The colliding stars were looming in the dust, showing a red color. From the perspective of other stars that have never been affected, it is like an ominous red star in the dust. I didn't expect that Fujitora would have such a method. From this point of view, the stars representing the 12 constellations of the zodiac may not be spared. Those colliding stars may hit all the stars on the zodiac along the trajectory. On a star, a group of figures came here through space magic. They are Kaido and some strong men he gathered. At this time, they looked at the ominous red star in the sky that was slowly getting bigger and felt a little emotional. What should we do? In this way, Fujitora can get more points. In the crowd, the Shadow Knight envoy Dorobeta from the Dark Curtain asked directly. Hearing his question, Doflamingo, who also joined in, laughed. What should we do? I think it's very simple. 810. As long as we eliminate him first, his points will stop here. With our current strength, it's easy. Idiots. I didn't ask you to come here to do this kind of thing. For Minga's proposal, Kaido didn't wait for others to express their opinions, and directly denied it with a curse. He looked around and said loudly. There is no time now. The Bronze Dragon King is already gathering other Dragon Kings and their Dragon Lords. If we delay any longer, the possibility of us achieving our goal will become lower and lower. Besides, those dragons are not stupid. Won't they run away when they see the stars falling? Hearing Kaido's words, everyone else nodded slightly. The areas where the fantasy world is located all have atmosphere. It's just that there is more on the surface of the planet, and it is relatively thin outside the planet. But such conditions are enough for dragons to gallop in the fantasy world. The dragons that can fight on the stars representing the zodiac are mostly SS-level dragons and above. Unless the S-level dragon lords are talented or have a high status. Otherwise, they will go to fight and occupy the planets representing the Silver and Bronze Star Palaces. This is the unspoken rule of the dragon world. Therefore, facing this slow starfall, unless those SS-level dragons are really stubborn, they will at least not die on the spot if they run away in advance. Really? That's a pity. Looking at Kaido being so domineering, Minga spread his hands, smiled and shrugged, with a trace of regret on his face. He really wanted to eliminate the variables for Fujitora. Because the other party, as the Admiral of the Navy, always went to the North Sea to attack the Dark Magic Guild and even the Dark Magic Pattern Guild. This was very distressing for him, who secretly supported some dark guilds. As a navy, it is enough to fight pirates honestly. But you have to be so involved. If Fujitora gets the magic secret, Minga didn't dare to imagine how uncomfortable the future would be. Okay, next time I teleport to the planet over there in Leo. Get ready for a big fight. If any of you fail or don't work hard, don't blame my mace. Looking at Kaido's oppressive dragon eyes, everyone nodded slightly, and Minga smiled and complimented. Don't worry, we are very interested in the protagonist's golden finger. Naturally, we will not fail to help. Besides, as a reincarnation of the main god Space, you have a bright future, and we will not offend you. Facing Minga's temptation, Kaido had no intention of replying at all. Other people's speculation is speculation. Although some of the chosen gods of the original god space in the sea are spreading some information about the main god space. With the existence of the god of the Sky Dragon King, everyone therefore tacitly accepted his identity as a reincarnation. But as long as he does not affirm it positively, it will not be considered a violation of the confidentiality regulations of the main god space. Of course, it is impossible to deny it. Such a public identity of a reincarnation can attract a large number of talents to join his team. How could he deny it? Since you know it in your heart. Let's go. Accompanied by Kaido using space magic. The black magic circle quickly unfolded and enveloped them. Soon, the group crossed the distance between the planets and crossed the flying composite star to the end of the other side. On the planet representing Leo, the Bronze Dragon King had already contacted other Dragon Kings through magic. There are 5 Dragon Kings coming to the fantasy world this time. In addition to it, there are 4 Dragon Kings belonging to the Earth, Wind, Water, and Fire systems. After explaining its guess to the Dragon King and concealing the fact that it had evolved dragon horns, the Dragon Kings united as expected. After all, if this fantasy world is opened, the ancient dragons come to manage the planet again. The original status of the Dragon King will be lost, and there will be a large group of emperors above him. Of course, the Dragon Kings don't really mind this. What they care about most is actually a legend. It is said that the ancient dragons who once managed this place fought because of an extremely precious treasure. What the treasure is, they still haven't figured it out yet. We need to search slowly in the fantasy world. If other ancient dragons come, they will not have a share in this legend. This is what they care about most. So if possible, the Dragon Kings hope to find out the origins of these sudden uninvited guests and even block the passage they come through. Are they here? It seems that they have brought a lot of helpers. Beside the Bronze Dragon King, the Dragon Kings representing the 3 systems of wind, water, and fire have gathered. As Dragon Kings, they are extremely fast. They arrived across the planet not long after the Bronze Dragon King notified them. As for the Dragon King representing the Earth, he did not arrive. It is not that the speed is slow, but that it needs to go to the star with unbalanced gravity to prevent the disaster of the 12 zodiac stars. Even the Bronze Dragon King cannot intervene in this. Because the respect for the fantasy world is what the dragons insist on. There is no special reason, the dragons will not change such a concept. That is, the matter the Bronze Dragon King said is big enough. In addition, the star disaster on the zodiac was also caused by outsiders. Therefore, the Dragon Kings of Feng, Shui, and Fire gathered here. Are they the outsiders? No giant dragons as expected. Is there any reason why the giant dragons did not come? The Golden Flame Dragon King, covered with fiery red dragon scales, was thoughtful. That's for sure. These outsiders dared to break the balance of the 88 stars, what else are they afraid of doing? If I were their lord, I would definitely hang their heads on the dragonwood of the territory. The Bronze Dragon King said and attacked directly. It really didn't want its treasures to be revealed as it had the evolved dragon horn. However, the opponent was aggressive and powerful, so it might be unavoidable. But it didn't matter. The Dragon Kings couldn't easily believe these outsiders who destroyed the balance of the 88 stars. Even if they doubted, they would only discuss later. So it only needed to break through to the realm of the ancient dragon in this battle. Chapter 1013 Ajin, directly. Boom. The overwhelming bronze ancient light illuminated the world and attacked Kaido and his group. Faced with such an attack, Kaido directly burst out a terrifying black light. Swallowed all the bronze ancient light that covered him. Trademark. The Dragon Kings are almost all here. It's a bit difficult. After Kaido blocked the attack of the Bronze Dragon King, looking at the giant dragon on the field, his face turned black. He didn't expect the Dragon Kings to react so quickly. He had been looking for people non-stop and used space magic to hurry on. But most of the Dragon Kings had gathered. If this is the case, it is still very difficult for them to take off the dragon horns of the Bronze Dragon King. I'll communicate with those Dragon Kings. I think they have been itching for that legend for a long time. It's useless. You are a dragon slayer wizard, don't you know about dragons? In this situation, even if the Dragon King is greedy, he will only deal with the external enemies first. We still have to fight. Kaido directly disdains and denies Minga's proposal. How do you know it won't work if you don't try it? Of course you are the leader and you have the final say. Minga took 2 steps forward with a heartless pace, and then looked at a black-haired boy wrapped in bandages. Let's go. Jin. Next, the 2 of us will resist the Annihilation Dragon King. As 4 symbol dragon slayers, it should not be a problem if we work together. Hearing Minga's call, the young Boyajin cast his eyes on the old man with a cane next to him. This old man is the founder of the Grand Line New World Yaki sect, Muki Eugenis. The people Kaido invited this time are all pirates and major forces with whom he has interests. Among them, the other 3 emperors of the 4 pirates are involved. SSS-class wizards such as the Speedy Katakuri, Diamond Jaws, and the 4-elephant dragon Ajin. Ajin is currently the signature of the Golden Lion Pirates, and has extremely terrifying combat power before he reaches adulthood. Go. Yes. Muki's affirmation lit up Ajin's silent eyes, as if they were burning. Seeing Ajin's performance, Muki was also very satisfied. This young man in front of him was the result of his experiment with great effort. He provided the experimental record data of the strongest god slayer, the Phantom Demon's homecoming, as well as some unspeakable data. In addition, he personally took action and the Golden Lion Pirates provided various experimental bodies and funds. Finally, he cooperated with Chaos Envoy Klo and Dark Curtain. It can be said that he contacted many forces to cooperate to start the experiment on the 4 symbols Dragon Slayer Wizard. And the final result is the young man in front of him, the 4 symbols Dragon Manajan. This young man is the link between the Yaki cult, the Golden Lion Pirates, the Magic Council where Klo is, and the Dark Curtain to strengthen the connection between the 4 forces. Although on the surface, the ownership of Ajin belongs to the Golden Lion Pirates. In fact, Ajin is closer to him. This is a very good tool. It's a pity the limit is not high. A trace of regret lingered in Muki's mind. Because although Ajin has achieved SSS level magician, his limit can barely enter the quasi-god at most. However, although it was regrettable, Muki soon became optimistic again. The reason is simple: if he can obtain the evolution dragon horn, Ajin's path can be further developed. As a loyal fighting force close to him, Muki is ready to focus on training. Roar of the 4-elephant dragon. Accompanied by Minga and Ajin, they set out. 2 elemental torrents intertwined and raged towards the Annihilation Dragon Emperor, who represented the wind among the Dragon Emperors. Although both were roars, the power used by Ajin was even greater than that of Minga. Because unlike Minga, Ajin was already a dragon man. Strictly speaking, his race could be considered a sub-dragon. Of course, because of human blood, he could also be called a dragon man. The surface of his skin under the bandage was permanent dragon scales. If he didn't use magic to suppress it, his normal state would be that of a dragon man with dragon scales. Ha 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 ha. Good. I like this kind of directness. They. Annihilation Dragon Emperor watched the 2 elements merge and bombard. It laughed loudly, and the endless annihilation storm rushed towards the elements. Boom! The terrifying storm collided the elemental torrents. The colorful streams of light exploded like water ripples. The mountain on the surface that was ravaged by the colorful ripples broke and fell directly, causing the ground to emit continuous roars. After one move, Minga and Ajin went straight up to the sky. The Annihilation Dragon Emperor also spread his wings and followed. After they left, Muki took the lead. I am old. I can't beat the monster Bronze Dragon Emperor, so I will take care of the Golden Flame Dragon Emperor. I will try my best to hold it back. Hearing Muki say this while leaning on a cane, Kaido curled his lips directly. To be honest, before participating in this great magic director martial arts, he didn't know that the old guy Muki actually practiced magic, and his attainments reached the level of quasi-god. More importantly, he just found out. The research of the 4 symbols Dragon Slayer Mage was actually intervened by the Yaki cult and the Golden Lion Pirates. On the surface, the research was only carried out by the Magic Council and the Dark Curtain. Even the 4 symbols Dragon Man Akin joined the Golden Lion Pirates. The official statement is that after Akin became a dragon man, his personality became cold and tyrannical, so he turned away from the 2 major forces. Kaido felt very confused about the involvement here. However, if he had known that the Yaki cult had a way, he should have intervened long ago. It's good to experiment with these things. Even if the upper limit is not high and there are even side effects. But as long as you go to the main god space, it can be solved. Eliminating the side effects is much cheaper than directly buying a qualification of the same level. If there is a chance, he will let his reincarnations do batch experiments. Boom! A wave of overwhelming green forest roots spread violently, directly covering the Golden Flame Dragon Emperor. The Golden Flame Dragon Emperor did not resist. Let the green forest carry it away from other dragon emperors. I have a curious question. Can you help me solve it? When the green forest moved quickly, the Golden Flame Dragon Emperor, who was sitting in it, asked calmly. And Mu Qi, who was standing on the green forest and was moved together with the Golden Flame Dragon Emperor, narrowed his eyes slightly and smiled. Excuse me. Just now I heard your companion mention the legend. Is the legend he mentioned the legend circulated in our ancient star? Yes. For the Golden Flame Dragon Emperor's doubts, Mu Qi gave a straightforward explanation. The treasure in your legend that can make the ancient dragons fight to the death is on the Bronze Dragon Emperor. This is also the purpose of our coming together. So that's the case, no wonder. Yes. Chapter 1014 Battle between all parties, Wretched Flow. The Golden Flame Dragon Emperor lowered his dragon eyes slightly. It believed it without Muki's explanation. Because the rise of the Bronze Dragon King was too fast and too incredible. By the time they reacted, that guy had already become the Dragon King. Now it was just a confirmation of the guess. There is another question, which ancient star did you come from? I'm sorry I can't answer that. Is that so? In that case. Zizlizla. Red flames flowed out from the Golden Flame Dragon King, burning the ancient forest. The extremely hot flames spread rapidly, passing over the flying ancient forest like a flying bird, dyeing it red. But this cannot directly destroy the ancient forest. Because at this burning speed, when the flames destroyed and burned the ancient forest, the Golden Flame Dragon King didn't know how far he was carried away. But Muki didn't care. The Golden Flame Dragon King in front of him was the strongest Dragon King besides the Bronze Dragon King. Its combat power was very terrifying. In the original work, it was also the biggest boss faced by the Bronze Dragon King. When the Golden Flame appeared, it was like the sun across the sky. Facing such an opponent, Muki naturally could not be careless. Sure enough. The next moment, the blazing red flame quickly turned golden. The red scales on the Golden Flame Dragon King also turned into dazzling bright gold. Golden Sun Prison. Boom! The ancient forest that was originally stretching in the air suddenly shattered. A golden sun seemed to appear in the sky, shining on everything. However, this sun did not bring warmth and vitality, but extreme high temperature and destruction. The temperature of the whole world seemed to be rising. The ground under the golden sun was burning out of thin air. From a distance, it looked like purgatory. It looks really scary. Can that old man withstand it? The shadow of the dark night made Dorobeta curious. You have to stand up to me even if you can't. Who of you will go and take care of that holy water dragon king? Kaido looked at the last dragon king besides the Azure Dragon King, and looked to his side. Let me do it. A red fishman stood up. He was the fourth evil general of the Great Evil Fleet, the Fishman Hero Tiger. As an important member of the Great Evil Fleet, the Fishman Tiger was also invited by Kaido. It's not just because of the Evil Fleet. It's also something Kaido knows clearly. This man is not simple. Although the outside world thinks that his magician level is SSS level. But Kaido knew that Tiger's magician level reached quasi-god before the great magician fighting began. The reason why he knew it in advance is also very simple. Because when he went to the reincarnation world for a mission, among the people sent by the original god Space to mess with him, Tiger was one of them. Of course, although from the perspective of the two spaces, it is a hostile relationship. But Kaido doesn't care so much. Now whoever is strong will be used. With this cooperation, I think this guy will be embarrassed to mess with him next time. And Kaido also has a little idea. That is to strengthen Tiger to increase the strength of other reincarnations. Brother Tai, I'll go with you. The blue whale shark man next to Tiger took the initiative to step forward. It was the world-famous captain of the Sun Pirates, Sea Knight Jinbei. As a fishman with a divine annihilation tool, Jinbei has always been Kaido's desired subordinate. This time, he joined this short-lived alliance with Tiger, and his magician level is SSS. It's better for me to be alone. I'm better at water. Tiger felt that it would be safer for Jinbei to deal with other Dragon Kings. The fighting power of the Dragon Kings in this world is extremely amazing. If he is not careful, he may not be able to support Jinbei in time. Brother Tai, I have learned extreme water magic. I am also good at dealing with water. Princess Otohim's magic. Hearing Jinbei's words, Tiger was a little surprised. Because he had never heard that Jinbei went to Odo him to learn magic. Could it be Jinbei joined that space? Okay, you don't have to argue anymore. I'll make the decision for you. The Holy Water Dragon King has strong healing abilities, but not strong fighting abilities. Tiger alone is enough. Kaido looked at the immobile Dragon King on the opposite side, grinned and criticized the Holy Water Dragon King. Don't dawdle. The other side is waiting for other SSS level Dragon Kings to come to support. We don't have time to waste here. Kaido took the lead. Katakuri, Red Earl, and Diamond Jaws, you come with me. The rest of you go to stop the Dragon King. Ha ha ha. No problem, you go directly, and leave the rest to us. Watching several people go up. Among the remaining people, a man with fluffy black hair surged with infinite darkness directly from his body, surging out like a tide. The darkness disturbed the perception of the surrounding Dragon Kings. The man who used this magic was a famous lone pirate in the sea, Kurosawa Teach, whose bounty was 56 billion berries. At this moment, Teach felt that he was blessed by God. He was just selected to join the original God space not long ago, and his future was bright. Now he came to the great demon director Wu and wanted to advance to the top 10 and get 1 or 2 more opportunities to enter the abyss of the magic. I didn't expect to encounter such a good thing. Evolved dragon horns. If he gets a part of it, it will be a real takeoff. He couldn't miss this opportunity. You better hurry up. There are too many Dragon Kings now, we can't hold on for long. The figure of the Shadow Knight envoy disappeared in the darkness of Teach, and helpless words came out from the darkness. He was really helpless. After all, there were already 8 SSS level dragons around, and more than 100 SS level dragons. Such a terrifying number of powerful dragons. It is not an easy task for them to hold on. Of course, for Kaido. SS class dragons cannot participate in his battle. So Kaido only needs others to block those SSS class dragons, and he ignores the SS class dragons. It is only for Shadow Knight Envoy that SS class dragons are capable of threatening him. Carrying the threat of 3.8 SS class dragons to hold back SSS class dragons. Even if there are 3 teammates, this task is still not easy. Big Bear, you should pay more attention to those SSS class dragons. If anyone wants to intervene in the battle of Kaido, notify me. My ability will cooperate with you to bounce those guys away. Sea Knight Jinbei, you just said that you can use extreme water magic, so you will be our shield, and if there is an SSS class dragon rushing over, you will go up. In the darkness, Shadow Knight Envoy, whose figure disappeared, began to arrange the battle strategy. He prepared a delaying tactic. Using Teach's dark magic as a perception to disrupt perception, and with his magic to bind, Big Bear's bouncing magic will bounce the approaching enemies away. As for Jinbei, he has the strength and softness of extreme water magic, which is definitely a qualified shield to fill the loopholes. With this set of cooperation, they can fight against the wretched flow. They will not be defeated directly. Chapter 1015 The Giant Spirit of Gods, Big Bear is rescued. Boom. The endless darkness keeps surging, covering the sky and the sun. Dozens of kilometers in radius are shrouded by the dark tide, and it looks pitch black. But in the darkness, even if the dragon's perception is disturbed and suppressed by the darkness, they are completely unmoved. Afraid. The SSS level wind dragon started stirring the wind, trying to blow away the dark fog that covered the sky. It was just that the darkness looked like fog, but it did not move with the wind like fog. Instead, it was somewhat like a projection. Unless it was forcibly annihilated with powerful wind magic, it could not be blown away with ordinary wind magic. However, with so many companions around, this SSS level wind dragon could not use such magic. Let me do it. Accompanied by one of the SSS level fire dragon kings attacking. The terrifying ball of fire rose into the sky. The blazing light illuminated the vast darkness. The flames that penetrated the darkness made the shadows of the dragons and dragons on the battlefield particularly narrow and long, overlapping each other. This scene made the Shadow Knight illuminated in the darkness raise the corner of Darabetta's mouth. The opportunity is here. Multiple shadow binding cross. Swish. Countless shadows danced wildly, rushing towards their respective masters like a group of demons. They split into 2 black hemp ropes. Quickly wrapped around the bodies of the dragons and dragons. Then, they formed a cross shape as if they were tied in a knot. Almost all dragons and dragons were trapped tightly by this sudden accident. Whoosh! Whoosh! when Ying Ye used a move to bind most of the dragons on the battlefield. The figure of the big bear quickly switched back and forth in front of some SS-level dragons like teleportation. Bang! Bang! The sound of bubbles breaking quickly rang. Just 1 second. More than 30 SS-level dragons were bounced away along with their shadows. Some flew out of the planet, which was lucky. Some flew towards the battlefield on Kaido's side. When the big bear appeared again in front of a high-level SS-level dragon, the Thunder Giant Spirit. The SSS-level dragons on this battlefield had already reacted. The terrifying magic power burst out together. The Shadow Knight Envoy's moves were violently broken, and all the shadows collapsed. The purple Thunder Giant Spirit that escaped from the trap flashed with lightning and dodged the big bear's slap. Then it appeared behind the big bear. It directly used a big move on the big bear, who was a little unprepared. Sky Thunder Summoning. The terrifying and dazzling purple lightning burst out. It was like a purple sun bombarding the big bear. It was so fast. It made it impossible for the big bear, who used the bouncing magic continuously in a short period of time, to avoid it. Dark Guide Ball. At this critical moment, Teach, who was in control of the whole field, attacked in time, relying on the black tide surging in the field. Used a move remotely. The several-meter-long black sphere swallowed the big bear out of thin air. Boom! The long thunder split the sky, like a thunder dragon tearing the sky. The terrifying purple lightning burst out, wantonly venting huge energy, stirring up rolling celestial phenomena. Ha ha ha! As expected of the upper giant among the elemental giants, the Sky Thunder Giant is indeed worthy of its reputation. Looking at the powerful moves of the Sky Thunder Giant that stirred the sky, there was also a trace of amazement on Tich's face. Among the dragon clans, the sub-dragons with dragon blood are undoubtedly the most potential and the strongest. Different levels are divided according to the nobleness and concentration of the inherited dragon blood. When the blood is fully completed, it can evolve into a dragon and its strength reaches the same level as its creator. Therefore, some sub-dragons with noble and powerful blood have a very high status among the dragons. It is the only magical creation of the dragon clan that can be treated as a descendant. However, in addition to the sub-dragon, the dragon clan has another race of magical creations that are almost on par with the sub-dragon. That is the giant. The dragon clan tree created by the current Yuanlong clan can give birth to elemental giants. This kind of elemental giant was originally inspired by the elemental giant in the comic gods and submitted to the Yuanlong nest. Then the Yuanlong nest accepted the template. After that, it became an extremely powerful soldier popularized by the Yuanlong species. Elemental giants have extreme purity and loyalty. With extreme purity, elemental giants can perceive the elemental law and grow slowly. They can even absorb the corresponding powerful elements and break through their own talent limit. Of course, the purity will be lost slowly in this process, but the former is slower and the latter is faster. But even so, elemental giants are impeccable in terms of combat power, potential, or personality. Therefore, they have become the magical creations that dragons love very much. Sky Thunder Giant belongs to the upper level of elemental giants, and its combat power is extremely terrifying. Teach is very glad that there is no magic-like dragon-dependent tree in this world. Otherwise, Sky Thunder Giant should be SSS level when it is born. The same is true for other dragon-dependent species. Dragon lords have been fighting for territory for many years. The most dead were the dragons under his command. These dragons were different from the present world and needed to grow slowly. Otherwise, Teach couldn't imagine how difficult this battle would be. Thief 457 Ha ha ha. Tyrant Big Bear, I saved you this time. You must remember my kindness. Next to Teach, a black ball appeared beside him, and the figure of the Big Bear also appeared. For Big Bear appeared, Teach smiled and asked him to owe him a favor. The king of the kingdom of Salbi in the South Sea. Teach still attaches great importance to him. Because this man has a support relationship with the South Sea Dark Curtain. And now Miss D, who has obtained the magic secret Extreme Wind in the 12 seats of the Magic Council, also supports this guy. In addition, if the matter of evolving the dragon horn is 10% now, the people who unite here can form a huge network of relationships. Through this, some of his ambitions can also be implemented. Well, I understand. Big Bear nodded slightly. Although he looks very difficult to mess with, Big Bear is very honest in his heart. The move just now was very powerful. If he resisted it, he would be seriously injured. If he was eliminated because of this, it would be difficult for Big Bear himself to say whether he could get the allocated spoils afterwards. After all, in addition to the fixed 40% distribution of Kaido, the beast, in this battle, the other 60% is distributed according to the performance of the people present and the relationship operation of the division of the dragon horn afterwards. From this perspective, he was really grateful to teach. Chapter 1016 Live up to expectations, and finally take it all by himself. Thief, ha. Just remember it. Next, pay attention, those dragons are angry. While Teach was speaking, his body also turned into darkness and moved quickly, protecting Jinbei not far away. Of course, when he was moving, the darkness surged more and more, covering the area more and more dim, so that the fireball in the sky could not penetrate the darkness. However, this didn't matter to the dragons. They had locked onto the Shadow Knight envoy, and even darkness could not disturb their lock. Some dragons and dragon followers who were not as strong as them voluntarily withdrew from the battlefield, so that the powerful dragons and dragon followers in the battle could be free from scruples. The roar of the wind dragon. The roar of the explosive dragon. The roar of the gem dragon. Accompanied by countless roars interweaving and flashing, the dazzling and colorful elemental torrent shattered all the darkness along the way and quickly advanced towards a certain location. Jinbei's position was right in front of this elemental torrent. Because Shadow Knight envoy was also very cunning, his position was close to Teach. He also protected Jinbei in front. For everyone's behavior, Jinbei didn't have much resentment. After all, he was the most suitable person to be a shield among the people present. So he had no choice but to do it. The rock under his feet was crushed. Jinbei squatted slightly with his legs, posing as a fishman judo. A complex water blue magic circle originated and rotated from under his feet. 2 streams of water appeared out of thin air. It was like a flowing fish constantly spinning in his hands like Tai Chi. Boom! After Jinbei's moves were quickly formed, the elemental torrents of the dragons have also surged over. The endless water flow instantly enlarged and enveloped the torrent in front. Bang! The terrifying wave of terror began to roar. The hot steam raged to both sides, like a long whip whipping the ground, causing cracks on the ground. Crack! The violent impact also caused the ground under Jinbei's feet to continue to crack. Jinbei's face flushed a little, but he finally blocked it. The water flow in front was like a pair of fish biting each other and spinning continuously. The dragons' combined terrifying roars were stubbornly resisted. Seeing this scene, the roaring dragons increased their power directly. Boom! The colorful elemental torrent suddenly expanded, and it was going to violently destroy the fishmen in front of it. Ha! With a roar, Jinbei immediately collapsed the ground. Using extremely gentle force, he pushed the oncoming elemental torrent upwards. Boom! The extremely gorgeous and dazzling colorful beam roared and shattered the darkness above. It spread all the way to the distant sky. Then, it exploded like a fountain spreading to the highest point. The colorful waves of light spread across the sky in an instant, turning into a huge aurora canopy. Pitter-patter! The canopy of the sky began to flicker. The sky also fell with light particles of various colors. The battlefield became like a dream. However, only the audience watching the live broadcast of the great magic director Wu had the heart to appreciate this scene. Jinbei on the battlefield was sweating coldly. In order to be able to catch the roar of the dragons, the magic power was overloaded, leading to a double load on the body and mind. In a short period of time, he could no longer block the combined force of the dragons just now. Jinbei was also glad that the big bear had just bounced many powerful SS-level dragons away. Otherwise, if those dragons joined in, he might be seriously injured on the spot. When Jinbei took a short break, with the help of the gorgeous elemental torrent, Shadow Knight envoy used those wanton shadows to bind again. However, this time many dragons were on guard. Each used their own methods to avoid the restraint of Shadow Knight envoy. However, many dragons were still bound. This part was the target of Big Bear's bouncing magic. Under the continuous cover of Teach's dark magic, Big Bear moved quickly again. Bang, bang, bang. It was like bubbles bursting. Another dozen dragons and several powerful sub-dragons and giants were slapped away by him. This relieved the pressure of several people a lot. What a disgusting way of fighting. Everyone, let's use all our strength. Don't let these damn bugs look down on us. A dragon with blazing flames roared and shouted, causing many dragons to echo. For the tactics of Teach and others, the Dragon Lords felt very disdainful. They prefer to confront the enemy head-on and defeat the strong enemy head-on, or sit in the sky and watch the dragons of various families kill each other. They are unfamiliar with and disdainful of the cooperation of their own kind. Therefore, when they suddenly face these enemies of the same level, with good abilities and using vulgar tactics, the effect of fighting is not very good. But even so, they are still full of confidence. As long as they use all their strength, under overwhelming strength, these enemies in front of us will eventually turn into ashes easily. Roar, roar, roar. Accompanied by various dragon roars, the Dragon Lords began to use their own specialties, or turn on special modes, or use powerful moves. Boom. Accompanied by various violent roars, various terrifying moves were performed. Or the sun fell, or the mountains moved, or the sky and rivers collapsed, or the doomsday storm. No matter what it was, it showed the terrifying magic attainments of the dragons. Cooperation is not expected, but they will choose to defend against the enemy in their own way. As for whether it will affect other dragons and dragon families, they don't care. The dragons got angry and their tempers exploded. They felt that they could chop down all dragons together. Seeing this scene, Teach and Shadow Knight Envoy Dorobeta had a tacit understanding. They followed Jinbei closely and protected him firmly in front of them. And Jinbei did not disappoint everyone. Standing in front of the big bear, he finally took it all by himself. Boom! It was like a comet hitting the earth. The terrifying shock wave raged in this battlefield, and the darkness covering the battlefield was ruthlessly shattered. The violent vibration swept the strata. It blew up the strata, like a tsunami. From a distance, it looked like a price. The endless elements of various colors intertwined and spread, as if to swallow everything into that dream paradise. Chapter 1017 Legend of the Magic Eye, Shining Magic Eye. This scene was watched by the audience at the scene of the magic show. They watched intently, afraid of missing a frame of the picture. Goo-ha-ha-ha. The Dragon Lord is so powerful. Such a terrifying magic attack, can the players such as Shadow Knight successfully defend and counterattack? Let's wait and see. In the audience seats in a corner, the red-haired group ignored Morgan's passionate shouting, and their faces were very solemn. Boss, this won't be good. If Kaido succeeds, our future won't be easy. Hongo's face was filled with worry. He felt bad when he saw Kaido joining forces with so many pirates. After all, if those guys got the evolution dragon horn, they would have to avoid him as pirates in the future. Regarding Hongo's worry, Red Hair didn't reply. While looking at the battlefield on Teach's side, he stroked his left eye with his fingers. There were 3 scars there, which made him feel a little painful. Boss, are you thinking about Teach again? What's there to think about that guy? He was just accidentally injured by him. Hongo seemed a little indifferent to his boss's emphasis on Kurosawa Teach. In this crazy world, Kurosawa Teach's little thing is nothing at all. He couldn't understand why the boss focused on that guy, and even didn't heal the scar to warn himself. I understand this. As soon as Hongo said this, La Shi's big meat leg muttered and took over the conversation. This must be the passion, no, it should be said that the sense of fate is generated when the protagonist and the final villain collide in the comics. Hey! It would be great if the boss was really the protagonist. We can also get some benefits. Hearing Loki's words, Hongo rolled his eyes. Let's not do it. The protagonist may sacrifice his teammates. I want to live a few more years. Besides, our current situation is really not like it. Compared to the boss, I feel that Diamond Jaws of the Whitebeard Pirates is more like the protagonist. As Hongo said this, he focused his attention on the battlefield on the side of Kaido, the beast. He stared at the figure with blue light flashing all over his body and slightly blue pupils, and couldn't help but continue to sigh. That guy actually got the shining magic eye without saying anything. He must have joined one of the 2 mysterious spaces. The shining magic eye. The powerful magic eye that shined in the magic eye legend, that guy actually got it. I just don't know if the level of his magic eye has reached SSS level, and if it is possible to use the last's ultimate move. If you can use that move, cooperate with Kaido and the others, even the Bronze Dragon King may be taken down. Then... Fuck. Look, Hongo, that guy Jaws is using the radiance. When Hongo looked melancholy, Loki suddenly screamed. I'm not blind, there's no need to shout so loudly, it's just a radiance. Although he said so, Hongo looked at the white light shining on Jaws in the live broadcast in front of him. His face was full of complexity. There was a time when he also longed to have a pair of magic eyes. In the comic The Legend of the Magic Eye created by Master Dekos. The magic eye is the highest crystallization of the magician's interpretation of magic. The magicians in The Legend of the Magic Eye believe that the eyes are the windows to the heart. So on this basis, the magicians devoted themselves to research. Various magic eyes were created by powerful magicians. It made the magic technology of the whole world extremely prosperous, and various magic eyes were popular. Plug-and-play imitation magic eyes below S level. The real magic eyes above S level that can bless future generations and can only be used by corresponding bloodlines, as well as extremely powerful the terrifying God's Devil Eye. The God's Devil Eye is the devil eye used by the magic god who has entered the realm of God, and its power is extremely terrifying. What makes Hongo envious is that the bloodline of the shining devil eye used by Jaws is the God's Devil Eye. He also longed to have that devil eye. Especially the last move, it's so cool. It's so hateful. He is obviously this age, why hasn't he awakened the devil eye? In the world of Poem of Bronze and Ancient Dragon, Jaws did not feel Hongo's inexplicable resentment. He is now walking in the void, and the infinite white light envelops him, and the devil eye in his eyes has turned into a milky white color. While walking, he seems to be able to feel his father's relief and worry. Oh! It should have been like this a long time ago. In this case, I don't see how you can stop it. Kaido, who was in the battlefield at this time, was excited when he saw Yozua finally start to use his power. Originally, when he was recruiting people, he was not planning to look for the Whitebeard pirates. After all, he paid special attention to Yozu's strength at that time. But when he was looking for the Red Earl, a man who was low-key in the sea but also stepped into the quasi-god magician, he discovered Yozu's strength. At the same time, he also discovered the source of his strength, the shining mystic eye. This mystic eye is amazing, and it shines in Mystic Eye Legend. In the first chapter, it almost killed the big boss who was promoted to the magic god. Although using the radiant state will burn all the magic power and become a useless person. But it can also burst out extremely terrifying strength. Such a powerful mystic eye. It was simply prepared for this battle. Use all your value. Yozu! Kaido shouted as he rushed towards the Bronze Dragon King. Blood red and white light intertwined on his body. The blood red was the blood magic of the Red Earl, which strengthened Kaido's body to a terrifying degree. The white light was the acceleration magic given to him by Katakuri. The combination of the two made Kaido fast, incomparably fast. Add Kaido's own space magic. In just a moment, countless black lights poured down, and Kaido tore the bronze ancient light pouring from the Bronze Dragon King. In this gap, Katakuri and the Red Earl both used magic to interfere with the Bronze Dragon King. One took away the time for the Bronze Dragon King to cast magic, making it impossible for the Bronze Dragon King's magic to form normally. The other used blood magic to erode and imprison the physical actions of the Blue Dragon King. One banned magic and the other banned the body. It was a good match. Jaws took action again. This time he was no longer a marginal OB, but would become the main ADC. Chapter 1018 Be Proud of Me. Giant of Light Yozu. Swoosh. In an instant, Yozu passed through the gap torn by Kaido. Directly arrived in front of the Bronze Dragon King. Shining Elephant. White light emerged from Yozu's fist, turning into a huge fist that enveloped the Bronze Dragon King. Bang! A huge roar shook the atmosphere. The colorful canopy that appeared in the distant sky due to the battle on Jinbei's side was directly pierced. A long crack was engraved in the dreamy sky, showing the power of Yozu's attack. The Bronze Dragon King's body was shattered by this attack, and his spirit was also severely damaged. The intense pain swept over the Bronze Dragon King, causing him to frown. However, he still did not sit there and wait for death, but endured the severe pain and forcibly broke free from the magic of the Red Earl and Katakuri, which was on the verge of collapse. Its behavior was quite wise. Because in the next moment, Kaido's figure had already come to his side and used an extremely sharp space slash. Countless black lights flashed, and each move was aimed at his dragon horn. This scene made the Bronze Dragon King stare. Although its dragon horn was not so easy to be cut off. But the guy in front of him was so provocative, which really made him angry. It's useless, useless, useless. You damn bugs, I will only become stronger and stronger under your oppression. in the roar of the Bronze Dragon King. The injuries on its body were healing quickly, and the power of the bronze ancient light it wielded again was even greater. What a tenacious guy! It is almost immune to the magic of the Red Earl and me. Quick! Victory! I heard Katakuri shouting. Josie, who was bathed in infinite white light, also made up his mind, and the power of the shining magic eye was pushed to the extreme by him. Dad! This time please be proud of me! Rumble! The atmosphere roared. Infinite light erupted from Kiezi's body, creating a huge light pillar. In the pillar of light, Josie's figure began to disappear. The audience on the battlefield and the great demon director Wu were in shock. He turned into light. The pale light and shadow touched the sky. The giant of light that towers over the sky stands among them. This scene caused the battlefield on Jinbei's side to stop and pay attention to this side. How is that possible? You guy! The Bronze Dragon Emperor lost his composure at this time, and even had the idea of evading first. But then the thought made it feel extremely ashamed. How can the dragon escape? Bring it on! You bugs! The dragon has nothing to fear. Facing the roar of the Bronze Dragon King, Josie, who transformed into a giant of light, looked straight at the furious Bronze Dragon King. He showed no expression and just continued to attack. Qingtian's figure turns into light, moving forward, and moving forward again. Divine Light Cross. The world seemed to dim for a moment. Immediately, a terrifying and dazzling light erupted. The sky was penetrated by this extremely dazzling light. It makes the planet seem to be a shining star. It only dazzled the eyes for a moment, and the light dimmed. Everyone whose perception was interrupted due to the extreme flash of light also regained their perception. Ha ha ha! Is that the power of the shining magic eye? It is indeed the power inherited from that god's demonic eye. Teach looked at the pale cross slowly shining in the sky in the distance and couldn't help laughing. With that kind of power, the Bronze Dragon Emperor must have been brutally captured. The reality is just as Teach imagined. Kaido's figure has reached the center of the huge pale cross. There. The body of the Bronze Dragon King was nailed to the pillar of light. Its body is constantly broken. But even so, relying on the evolved dragon horn, the Bronze Dragon King is still tenaciously recovering. Such a scene made Kaido's mouth gradually become more serious. Oh! I will remember your contribution. Jaws. Kaido did not see Josie. He knew that the man was burned out. But it doesn't matter, he will remember this contribution firmly in his heart. The most important thing now is... Dense black flashes danced crazily as Kaido's claws and tail waved. Dang dang dang! It's like a dense hammering of iron. Darkness shimmers with paleness. It makes this place feel like the devil is having a carnival. Damn it! Damn it! Under the slit eyes of the Bronze Dragon Emperor, Kaido laughed wildly and used his space magic. A series of cracks opened from the roots of the Bronze Dragon Emperor's dragon horns. Even though the strength of the Bronze Dragon King's dragon horns is somewhat beyond Kaido's expectations. But this can only make his attacks more crazy. Click click click. Bang. Bang. Two heavy sounds sounded. There were no other accidents. The two dragon horns of the Bronze Dragon Emperor simply broke. Although Kaido knows that the evolved dragon horn only resides in one of the Bronze Dragon Emperor dragon horns. But just in case, he chopped off both dragon horns. Oh! I got it, I finally got it. Kaido quickly snatched the two fallen dragon horns and touched the cool and heavy feeling on them. He looked up to the sky and smiled. After laughing a few times, Kaido stopped smiling. Because he still needs to make the final insurance. Now that you have the dragon horn, you can get out. Katakuri, Red Earl, give me your greatest blessing. With so much free time, Kaido even asked Katakuri to re-strengthen his crumbling magic. Katakuri and the Red Count watched Kaido hang the dragon horns on his waist. After they looked at each other, they gave Kaido the maximum blessing as requested. Click. Click. Feel the strength in your body rising again. Kaido twisted his neck twice and looked at the Bronze Dragon Emperor with a ferocious smile. Seeing that its eyes were about to burst out, it started to hit the target crazily. Damn it, damn it! In the Bronze Dragon King's overwhelming anger, it was covered in wounds and was quickly killed by Kaido's last-ditch blow. Its body began to shatter like a phantom. Don't let me find it! Don't let me find it! Watching the Bronze Dragon Emperor gradually dissipate, he was hoarse. Kaido smiled. Oh. If you have the ability, find someone to try. After laughing, Kaido then carefully looked at the two dragon horns stuck in his waist. I saw one of them shattered like a phantom like the bronze dragon emperor. But the other one did not move, still hanging on his waist. Succeeded. It seems that white was not in vain. Chapter 1019 Hunting Time, Soul Burning Star. Kaido held the remaining dragon horn in his hand and calmed down. The existence form of the evolved dragon horn is very special and is not affected by the fantasy world. If he only relied on the comic Bronze and Ancient Dragon poem, he really didn't know if he could get this dragon horn. But in the sequel Ancient Light and Shadow, one of the half-evolved dragon horns held by the protagonist had an accident. It was taken off by other dragons in the fantasy world. Although the dragon horn is related to the protagonist, and was later easily retrieved by the protagonist. But that plot also gave him a lot of confidence in taking the dragon horn. Now that the plan has been verified, his heart is finally at ease. As long as he returns to the real world. Ask the god of magic to help decompose the dragon horn and remove the restrictions on its use, then the matter of evolving the dragon horn will come to an end. Even if the god of magic does not help him, he has a backup plan. That is the main god space. But Kaido does not want to borrow the power of the main god space unless it is absolutely necessary. Everything in that place costs money. If he takes the dragon horn to the main god space, that will definitely be a price he cannot bear. The lowest estimate is that he will have to pay 20% of the evolved dragon horn to offset it. He will never do such a thing. What? You are all silent. Don't worry. I keep my word. Even if I am a pirate, I am trustworthy. Kaido stored the dragon horn with space magic. Then he made a promise to Katakuri and the Red Earl. He didn't intend to cheat. Although the evolved dragon horn was very tempting. But he also had a broad road with the main god space. So he would not go against his solemn promise for this thing. I'll keep the dragon horn for now. When we return to the real world, we'll follow the original plan. As for now, it's time for us to hunt. Kaido said with a majestic smile, looking at the battlefield in the distance. You can choose for yourselves. I'll go first. Crack. Accompanied by the sound of space tearing, Kaido's figure disappeared directly in front of Red Earl and Katakuri. After Red Earl and Katakuri looked at each other, they also moved towards their chosen targets. After the matter about the evolution of dragon horns was over, they have become competitors. Next, whoever can hunt more and stronger dragons will win the first place in this great magic fight. Oh! Now is the hunting time. At this time, Kaido's figure appeared in the scene of Jinpei and others. He ignored Jinpei and others and raged on the battlefield quickly. Countless black lights flashed crosswise on the scarred battlefield. Those SS-level dragons were harvested by Kaido like wheat. No SS-level dragon could withstand Kaido's attack alone. On the eve of the Great Demonic War, Kaido had already paid off the loan with the Dragon King of the Sky, and borrowed the remaining origin points and the reincarnation forces that Abigodes had developed from him in the main god space. In this way, another source point was gathered to make the ritual of the Dragon King Festival of the Dragon King of the Sky go further and push it to the level of High Festival. It can be said that he was terribly strong after receiving the Dragon King of the Sky. In addition, the blessing given to him by Katakuri and the Red Earl has not disappeared. Now he has a kind of attitude of killing gods and Buddhas. At least those SS-level dragons were still ruthlessly harvested by Kaido when they defended together. Asshole! How dare you! Watching Kaido's actions, the SSS-class dragons on the battlefield also completely woke up from the defeat of the Bronze Dragon King. One of the SSS dragons with blazing flames on its head immediately became furious. The flames erupted from his head like a volcanic eruption, and his anger rushed directly to his crown. Endless sun. The terrifying red flames roared and turned into a rolling sun falling from the sky. Impotent rage. Facing the lock of the sun, Kaido opened his big hands and laughed wildly at the sky. While laughing, his black crystal-like tail swayed and flashed. The black light flashed with dots of blood and white light tore the sky. Then the falling sun broke in the sky and exploded directly into fireworks in the sky. How is it possible? Nothing is impossible. Under the fire dragon's shrunken eyes, Kaido's figure had already passed over its body. Weak dragon. Contribute to my points. As Kaido's voice fell, the fire dragon's heart had disappeared, and was taken out and held in Kaido's hand. The heart, as red as a vat, was lifted above Kaido's head. Bang! Tear! Tear! The dragon's heart burst, and the hot blood of the dragon's heart continued to scatter, bathing on Kaido's body, making a sizzling sound. Damn it! The fire dragon whose heart was ripped out did not say much, but roared and activated its strongest self-ignition move. Soul-burning star! The terrifying red flame flickered. The flame bloomed like a lotus and swallowed Kaido. Then it spun like an infinite vortex. The blazing flames continued to gather to the center of the vortex. The temperature soared wildly. An instant later, the red color quickly gathered to a point and turned into a dazzling red star on the horizon. After shining for a moment, the fiery red star slowly dissipated. Oh! As expected of a SSS-level dragon of the fire system, it is still quite capable. At this time, Kaido's figure appeared not far from Jinbei. He looked at the completely disappeared fire dragon with a trace of admiration on his face. In most comics about dragons, fire dragons always play a very important and powerful role. This phenomenon not only exists among dragons, but also exists in many other races in comics. Perhaps it is because there is a sun god among the main gods. 5.1. Fire always occupies a high position in the creative atmosphere of contemporary comics. As long as there is a fire-type boss in the comics, it must be terrifyingly strong. It explodes and burns out all the time. The fire dragon that just burned out is the same. Kaido, who has read the comics, has some understanding of it. Although it is not a big boss in the poem of Bronze and Ancient Dragons, but it has appeared in the plot a lot. It was displeased with the protagonist before the Bronze Dragon King became the Dragon King. Later, it was defeated by the protagonist and became the protagonist's right-hand man. It can be said to be a boss with weight in the later plot. Such a boss directly uses a suicide move, even if he doesn't want to take the power of the explosion. Otherwise he will be very uncomfortable. Chapter 1020 Supermass Magic, The Tide Turns. Ha 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 ha. What a wonderful attack. The power of Kaido, the beast, is really well deserved. Teach, not far from Jinbei. He looked at Kaido, who appeared with a face of amazement and compliment. Then he said tentatively, Kaido, did our plan succeed? Oh. Kaido also understood what Teach wanted to say, and he smiled in a good mood. Don't worry. Next, we will follow the arrangement we made before. As for now, we are in a competitive relationship. Kaido said without waiting for Teach to reply, and took action again. He was too lazy to explain too much to Teach, a rising star, and he just wanted to say a few more words because there were other people on the field. As for other things, he was too lazy to say. Now he was busy harvesting dragons. After all, other Dragon Kings had heard the news and came. If he didn't hurry up, it would be more troublesome to harvest. Ha ha ha. It seems to be successful. Teach didn't mind Kaido's impatience at all. 18 He stretched out his big hands and laughed at the others. Brother Dorobeta, Jinbei, and Brother Big Bear. Although the plan is over, how about we continue to maintain this cooperation? Compared to those monsters, we don't have much advantage. Now we hunt together and share fairly. Everyone should at least get the top 10. For the short-term teammates present, Teach began to appeal to their emotions and reason. This time, he was alone in the great magic director Wu. Through this battle with various high-level dragons, he understood it clearly. His dark magic was obviously insufficient in lethality, especially compared with dragons, which have very high magic resistance. Although his dark magic can reduce magic resistance. But if he was alone, even if he killed a high-level SS dragon, he was a little unsure, or it might take a lot of time. This means that a high-level SS dragon is going to fight him, and he will be in big trouble. Plus, there are many people in the great magic director Wu this time. If he hunts alone, he might not even get the top 10. Only the top 10 in the great magic mastery have good rewards. Among them is a place to enter the magic abyss. This is what he must get. He has advanced to the SSS level magician. Next, it is time to enter the magic abyss to try his luck. However, the portal to the magic abyss is controlled by the Magic Council of the Magic City. It is difficult to enter without interests and connections. Even if the Magic Council promises, as long as the SSS level magician who is not blacklisted has a chance to enter the magic abyss. But how can one chance be used? Teach is deeply disgusted by the Magic Council's behavior of controlling the magician's chance to become a god. However, No matter how much he hates it, he has to do it. Now the great magic mastery is the best opportunity. Not to mention other rewards. Just the opportunity to enter the magic abyss. Starting from the 10th place with 1 chance, the chances increase in order of ranking. The first place even gets 10 chances. There is no such thing as too many chances to enter the abyss of the devil. Even if you don't sell it yourself, you can sell it at a sky-high price. No, I want to follow Brother Tai. You guys do it on your own. Jinbei rejected Teach's proposal on the spot. Rather than cooperating with Teach and others, he preferred to follow Tiger. Mr. Big Bear, thank you very much for what you did just now. I will remember it in my heart. Jinbei nodded to Big Bear not far away to express his gratitude, and then left. Looking at Jinbei leaving, Big Bear opened his mouth, but finally did not speak. He felt that he should actually thank him. Because Jinbei stood in front of him, he was not hurt. It was right for him to use the bounce magic to bounce away Jinbei's injuries. What a pity. So, Brother Big Bear, what is your decision? Sorry, I have something else to do. Kuma also refused Teach's invitation. Then he left directly with the bouncing magic. Watching Kuma disappear on the spot, Teach also felt a little regretful. Jinbei, who possesses the extreme water magic, is both a shield and a spear, and is an excellent teammate. As for Kuma, he is an excellent auxiliary. With the help of Shadow Knight, he can bounce away strong enemies to resolve danger, and even bounce away injuries to heal. This allows them to attack with confidence. Everyone cooperates together and is invincible. It's just such a good opportunity. These guys are unwilling, how stupid. Teach sighed in his heart. Brother Dorobetta, what do you say? Of course I have no objection. It's just I'm afraid we have to leave here before talking about other things. Hearing Dorobetta's words, Teach also agreed. Because other Dragon Kings have already arrived. Without cooperation, Kaido, the Beast, and those guys will not care about them. This battlefield is obviously no longer suitable for them to continue. Thief, hahaha. Let's go. I hope we have good luck next time. When Teach and Shadow Knight Messenger began to slip away, the 3 Dragon Kings, Golden Flame Dragon King, Annihilation Dragon King, and Holy Water Dragon King, have gathered on this battlefield. Their arrival made it impossible for Kaido to easily harvest dragons. Golden Sun. Accompanied by a golden sun falling from the sky, Kaido, who was raging on the battlefield, had a solemn face and used space magic to transfer the golden sun that locked him. Boom! A deafening sound came from afar. There was a flash of golden light, layers of burning heat was overwhelming. It was the movement caused by the golden sun that Kaido had transferred. But Kaido ignored it. Now he could see that the 3 Dragon Emperors were all focusing on him. Obviously, whether it was the death of the Bronze Dragon Emperor or his actions that had just ravaged the battlefield, he became the target of the Dragon Emperors. In the blink of an eye, he found that everyone else had run away. It seemed that he was the only one left on the battlefield. Trademark, are those guys really not afraid that my dragon horn will be exploded? Kaido felt a little bad at this time. Because he found it difficult for him to break through the space and teleport away. At least it was not a matter of an instant. Your name is Kaido of Beasts, right? I don't want to say anything extra, hand over the dragon horn. The Dragon Emperors, led by the Golden Flame Dragon Emperor, surrounded Kaido with a fierce look. Kaido then discovered that there was one more Dragon Emperor. The Earth Dragon Emperor appeared quietly. It was because of his arrival that he could not escape easily. He could feel it at this time. 3 magic circles were reflected in a triangle on the back of the fantasy world to block the void, and the terrifying mass disturbed the surrounding space turbulence. That was definitely the supermass magic arranged by the Dragon Emperor of the Heavy Land. The supermass in the current interface can bend time and space, making the space turbulence under the interface extremely surging. What's more, the Dragon Emperor of the Heavy Land also cast that magic on the reflection surface of the fantasy world. In this way, the crazy and violent space turbulence can definitely make his teleportation magic ineffective. Obviously, he is sleepy now. Maybe he will enjoy the treatment of being beaten up by the Bronze Dragon Emperor later. Trademark. It's really a matter of time. Kaido cursed in his heart. Chapter 1021 Holy Beast, Backstage. Oh. The dragon horn is in my hand. It's easy to ask me to hand it over. Come and take it yourself. Kaido looked at the many Dragon Kings and some SSS-level Dragon Kings who gathered around him. Although he felt pressure, he was still not afraid. Even if he had to fight many dragons, he would not give up. At most, he would just drag it on. Anyway, the dragons he had hunted before had already accumulated a good amount of points. With the points he had, it would be no problem to get into the top 3. Especially when these high-scoring Dragon Kings and SSS level came to beat him up. So Kaido was not afraid but extremely excited. Come on! I want to see what you 4 Dragon Kings have to offer. What the Bronze Dragon King can do, I can do too. In the original work, in order to break through to the realm of the Ancient Dragon, the Bronze Dragon King finally chose to be beaten by the 4 Dragon Kings. In the end, he fought for a day and a night and broke through on the spot. Kaido believes that he is not weaker than the Bronze Dragon King. The Bronze Dragon King can hold after a day and a night. Wouldn't it be easy for him to hold on until the great demon director finished his martial arts? I haven't solved the crisis of the 12 stars yet. Quick battle, quick decision. The Heavy Land Dragon King, who was covered in thick earth yellow scales, said to the other Dragon Kings with a serious face. Just now, it temporarily postponed the crisis of the 12 stars of the zodiac, and had suppressed the daring guy. It can be solved as long as it is given some more time. However, the Golden Flame Dragon King sent another message that there was something very urgent. It had to let that guy go. But if it dragged on here for too long, there might be another accident over there. Okay, then quick battle. The Golden Flame Dragon King nodded to the Key Dragon King. If the teleportation object was not too important, it would not want to beat others up. But now it can't be arrogant. Boom. The war was ignited. The terrible elemental torrent began to collapse in this battlefield. This time, it was Kaido who was beaten up. When Kaido was surrounded and beaten, Yakutsu's Muki took Ajin around to the celestial pole on the other side of the star. On the aurora-like star ring, he could see from afar that many dragons were circling the orbits of the 12 zodiac stars to come to the aid of the Dragon King. These Dragon Kings, most of whom were SS level, were his targets. Boom! The golden flames rose and swallowed up several dragons that flew quickly. Even if the dragons defended themselves in time against the sudden flames. But the temperature of the golden flames was extremely terrifying, and they burned their defenses directly, turning them into ashes together. Pa 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 pa. So powerful! Grandpa Muki. Ming Ji was standing next to Muki at this time, clapping his hands constantly, with a face full of praise. Thank you, young man. This is the power of the Golden Flame Dragon King. It is its power that makes it easier for me. Hearing Muki's modesty, Ming Ji's smile widened. Doflamingo said as he was looking at the giant tree burning with golden flames behind Muki in amazement. It was this tree that enabled Muki to use the power of the Golden Flame Dragon King. It is said that among the 8 heads of the 8 heads, Muki's power is the most terrifying. Because he can steal the power of the enemy. It is very terrifying to interpret the power of trees in the 4 seasons of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Now Minga feels that he has truly seen it. He didn't expect that Muki's magic could be as good as the rumor. Obviously, the rumor was about the power of the wooden dragon staff of the god-destroying tool. He. This is not my strength. All my power is ultimately the blessing of the 8 heads of God. For Minga's high praise. Muki is still very modest. Don't mention this. Tell me. Is there any problem with you following me? Let's make it clear in advance. I'm an old man and there's nothing I can do to help you. Looking at the alienated smile on Muki's face, Minga knew that he would not do anything that was not beneficial. But he had already understood this. After all, he had participated in the experiment of the 4 dragon slayers. Through the clues, he had come to a conclusion. The 4 strongest dark magic guilds in the magic world. The amiable-looking old man in front of him was probably involved. Minga, who participated in the creation of the furnace, naturally understood. The old man Muki was also a man who would eat people without leaving any bones. But compared to the man in the dark curtain, he felt better. I want to discuss a cooperation with you about the follow-up of the evolution of the dragon horn. Looking at Minga no longer using words but using magic to transmit sound. Muki's eyes narrowed slightly. He commanded the giant tree behind him to release the golden flame again to annihilate the giant dragon that was coming. Then the corners of his mouth rose. This kind of thing has already been decided. I believe Kaido of the beasts will make a good distribution. Not this, what should old man Mookie understand about me? Hehe, you think too highly of the old man, I don't know. Looking at Mookie waving his hand to cover up. Ming Ji didn't play a riddle and went straight to the point. I hope old man Mookie can help introduce that holy beast, I am willing to give 50% of my share. I just want to be close to that person. Oh. This time Mookie was really surprised. He knew who Ming Ji was talking about. Currently, there is only one holy beast behind the Yaqui cult. That is the Yaqui Viper of the true God level. Only this guardian fantasy beast, whose mind is elusive but likes to be served and respected, is willing to make decisions for the Yaqui cult. As for the other two of the true God level in Fantasy Beast Island, the Sun Golden Crow and the Dragon of the Underworld, they really take care of themselves. Although they are also the holy beasts of the Yaqui sect in name. But they are just in name only. Is it just in name only, or can they really be the holy beasts? He is coming out to help support the platform. Other major forces can tell this clearly. Therefore, the holy beast Yaqui Viper is the solid backing of the Yaqui cult. The young man in front of him is obviously looking for a backer. For this reason, he even contributed half of the evolutionary dragon horns he could get to the holy beast. Evolutionary dragon horns, even if there are not many. But this is a very precious item involving the evolutionary dragon king. It is estimated that the holy beast is already a true god, and it is probably not ignored. Hehehe, you also bring up something that has not been settled yet. Well, let's do this for now. But, Doflamingo, although you are willing to give it up, what does this have to do with me? Looking at Mookie's dead wood-like fingers tapping slightly on his wooden stick. Minga understood that this is to ask for benefits. But he is not worried that he will ask for benefits, but he is afraid that he will not want benefits. He must find this backer. The evolutionary dragon horn is too precious. Ming Ji understood that even if he got it, he would definitely not be able to hold it firmly. Not to mention other things. Just the Emperor of the Dark Curtain Emperor faction, he could not get past him. With that person's tyranny, I am afraid that his evolution dragon horn will be gone before it gets warm. Chapter 1022 for Forbidden Magics, Magic Flying Ship. I can give another 20%. Hearing Ming Ji's chips thrown again. Mu Qi narrowed eyes opened slightly, and the fingers tapping on the wooden stick also stopped. Looking at Mu Qi expression, Ming Ji's smile became more wanton. He. Doflamingo. I admire you more and more. I still remember that you were famous in the North Sea before I became rich. Now it seems that you are not in vain to have achieved what you have now. How about this? I can't make things difficult for you. If you don't mind, I will call you Xiaoming from now on. What do you think? Hearing Mu Qi emphasize the priority of both parties, Brother Ming laughed out loud. He understood. As long as nothing unexpected happens, his backing will be stable. He won't be controlled by the Dark Curtain in the future. Old man Mu Qi, you are an elder, it's no big deal to call you what you want. It's just I mentioned something about that place before. Ming Ji took the opportunity to bring up something about the dark magic world. After all, he felt bad for giving 20% of his share of the evolution dragon horn to Mu Qi. It would be best if he could cash in some benefits quickly, and this way would be the most suitable for him and Mu Qi. The dark side of the magic world is dominated by 4 magic guilds. These 4 giants were created to study how to improve the qualifications of magicians. They each possess a powerful forbidden magic. The name of the guild is also taken from the name of the forbidden magic. They are the 4 forbidden magics of rebirth, furnace, god viewing, and nirvana. The 4 taboo magic was banned by the Magic Council on the grounds that it was inhumane. Among them, the Crucible was his North Sea New World Alliance and the Yaqui cult, who were behind it. It was just that through the experiments of the 4 symbols Dragon Slayer wizards, he could detect a lot of knowledge about the Crucible and some shadows of taboo magic such as rebirth and god watching. Those knowledge and experimental data were brought by Mookie, and it was not so easy to get them without various experiments. Plus, the Yaqui cult regarded experiments as divine grace. Ming Ji had reason to suspect that the source of the 4 giants in the dark magic world was controlled or participated in by the Yaqui cult. If he could participate in it and get a share of it, his power development prospects would be further improved. He. Xiaoming, there's no rush for this. When the matter of Longjiao is settled, you will get what you want. Ming Ji smiled when he heard Mu Qi words. This time, the other party did not play dumb, which was an indirect admission that the He sect was behind the 4 giants. Then as long as there are no accidents, his power will be greatly expanded. In this case, then Mr. Muchi, I have something else to do, so I won't accompany you anymore. Well, go ahead. After Minga exchanged a few polite words with Mookie, he began to fly quickly towards other stars. If he stayed here, he couldn't compete with Mookie. Next, he would go to hunt on the star representing the Silver Star Palace. If possible, Minga also wanted to get the magic secret. In this way, he didn't have to spend a lot of effort to plan anything. Just according to the current situation, the probability of him getting the magic secret is very low. There are too many martial artists in this session of the Great Magic Director, so he can only try his best. Ho ho ho. As Minga left, the place where Mookie was also fell into silence. Only Ajin followed him silently like a guard. Ajin, you don't have to follow me. Go do what you want to do, otherwise that Gaijinshi is afraid to skin me alive. While Mookie felt the battle situation of Kaido on the other side of the star, he let Ajin act freely. Although Ajin's attitude satisfied him. But Ajin, who nominally belonged to the Jinshi pirates, was too close to him outside. The Golden Lion will be upset. Even if that man only cares about combat power and not people's hearts. But we should avoid suspicion after all. Especially now that Ajin is also involved in the distribution of the evolution dragon horn. Other forces that have the right to own Ajin will have a lot of arguments. Yes. Ajin, wrapped in bandages, left with a trace of confusion. The sky full of the aurora colors of the planets was completely silent. Only Mookie continued to control the golden flame giant tree to destroy the dragon. Time passed. Many magicians who participated in the grand magic martial arts were also taking action. They relied on their own methods to go to various planets. Especially those magicians who watched or even participated in several grand magic martial arts, they were more prepared. Whether it was a valuable single-person magic flying ship or a rare magic transmission scroll, a flying wing magic book, an acceleration magic prop, etc. They tried their best to prepare everything within their ability to prevent various possibilities. The starry sky of this fantasy world has an atmosphere. Among the 88 stars, the largest 12 zodiac stars are only about 1,000 kilometers in size, and the stars representing the Bronze Star Palace are mostly only a few hundred kilometers in size. They are not far from each other, and there are even floating meteorites in the starry sky to support them. With so many favorable conditions, many magicians are able to cross the stars to hunt dragons. Many magicians set out for the stars representing the Silver Star Palace or the Bronze Star Palace. The dragon is easy to find. As long as you go to each star. On the battlefield where many dragons are fighting, dragons always stand out. However, finding a dragon does not mean that it is easy to hunt it. After all, facing a dragon surrounded by dragons, it is hard to tell who will hunt whom without some skills. Boom! A meteorite ring on a star. A team of single-person magic flying ships quickly shuttled between meteorites. They quickly shuttled through the meteorite ring. Then it fell from the sky like a meteor. Soon, it crossed dozens of kilometers and fell from the sky. Bang, bang, bang. Day, day, day. Accompanied by a violent wind pressure and the sound of sand, dust, and gravel rolling down. 20 or so single-body airships slowly landed on a mountain. Crack, crack. Bang. Another strange sound. The various large and small streamlined airships opened and closed transparent driving covers from above. The wizards jumped out of their single seats one after another. Finally we're here. It's important to say that the speed of this A-class airship is really awesome. It's easy to fly at several times the speed of sound. 5 billion Baileys are not wasted. A bearded man jumped out of the airship and laughed heartily. Chapter 1023, Sun Mu, Dragon Slaying Sword. Stop talking nonsense, quickly put away the flying ship. I see a giant dragon flying over. Wouldn't you be heartbroken if the flying ship is damaged? A young man among the crowd urged with a look of haste. I know, but it's a good thing the giant dragon came. We deliberately crossed a star of the Silver Star Palace. There shouldn't be many S-class giant dragons on this star now. With our current strength, it's our turn to show off our power next. I hope my son can see his father's highlight moment. The bearded man quickly put the flying ship into the magic space bag, and said with full of pride. It's so funny, Lao Kui. You should pay off the loan from the Dark Curtain before you can be narcissistic. You're almost selling yourself, and you still have the mind to be proud of yourself. The young man's words of criticism made many members change their faces slightly. A calm man in a suit in the team saw this situation. He immediately went over and held the young man's shoulder. Xiao Yan, don't discourage Lao Kui. Not everyone has a background like your brother. It's not easy for everyone. As the leader of this team, he knew that many members had signed contracts with Dark Curtain in order to grow quickly. After all, the rapidly changing times made many people understand. The times don't wait for anyone. If you want to grow quickly and get dividends, you have to pay a price. The time virtual realm and various configuration resources opened by Dark Curtain are too tempting. Therefore, many people are trapped in it and become lifelong workers. Some even squeeze the value of their souls after death. In this case, Xiao Yan's words will hurt many people, which is not conducive to the unity of the guild. It's obvious. Why don't you let me say it? Say it. Oh. Got it. Here it comes. Everyone be alert. The leader let go of Xiao Yan's shoulder, his face suddenly changed and he shouted. Hearing the leader's words, the surrounding wizards began to make preparations quickly. According to their respective magic, several people quickly lined up in groups. Soon, a fire dragon quickly attacked. What made the leader look a little ugly was that it didn't come alone, but brought many subordinates with it. What a trouble! Giant, the bad thing about the Dragon Lord is that he brings a bunch of subordinates with him when he travels. Everyone, pay attention and follow the plan. Clear the monsters first, then focus on the dragon, and then quickly move to another position. Do you understand? Of course, President. Our Sun Mu is an old man in this business and knows how to do it, so he is not confused. Some members said confidently. In the present world, the three major crises of dragons are rampant. Many magic guilds therefore specifically accept tasks related to dragons. Sun Mu Guild is a guild that specifically accepts tasks related to dragon trees. Such tasks are difficult to say, but also easy to say. It mainly depends on whether there is a dragon guarding the dragon tree. If a dragon is guarding it, it will be much more difficult to capture it. Because not only is the dragon difficult to deal with, but the dragons under its command are also highly motivated because of the existence of the dragon. But it is precisely because of this. They have also accumulated a lot of experience in fighting against dragon lords. This feels like an S-level dragon. It brought 4 A-level and 11 B-level subordinates. Seeing the dragon getting closer and closer, the team leader synchronized the information he received to other members. As the team leader who coordinates the overall situation, his magic is a spiritual magic that is biased towards perception, which is considered a relatively rare magic. It is more suitable for coordinating the overall situation, and can also carry out mental attacks to restrict the enemy when necessary. Of course, as a team leader, he will not take the initiative to attack under normal circumstances. He will only take action when the situation is extremely urgent. In the eyes of the team leader, this action is still within the tolerance range of their guild. Although the S-level dragon of the fire system is relatively powerful, but they are only dealing with one. It is still relatively easy with the strength of their guild. At this time, everyone received the information transmitted by the team leader and began to lock their targets. Team 1 attacks to stop the dragon. According to the leader's order, a team of 4 people attacked directly. Among them, a man with a big beard was among them. Roar of the Steel Dragon. He roared and cast an extremely powerful dragon-killing magic. A huge grey steel vortex cut off the figure of the fire dragon. Others quickly followed. Facing the besieged team, the fire dragon also broke free from the grey vortex with powerful magic. Then sparks flew out of the dragon's mouth. Seeing that the roar of the fire dragon was about to break out, in the rushing team, one of the honest tall men waved the earth-colored giant shield in his hand. His body suddenly became light, and the giant shield in his hand, which was originally heavy, also lost weight. The man's forward speed suddenly increased a lot. He held up the dragon's slightly opened mouth before the dragon roared. Weightless shield. Bang! The giant shield hit the dragon's face hard. The giant shield, which was originally weightless, regained its weight just before it hit the dragon's face. Just under the blessing of speed, the terrible inertia directly crushed the dragon's face. The fire dragon's eyes were full of stars. It tilted its head towards the sky, and the roar that was ready to go out poured directly into the sky. Boom! A huge fireball hundreds of meters long rose up. The temperature around it rose rapidly as the fireball rose. But this did not affect the team's continued actions at all. One of the thorny guys jumped up at a rapid speed and directly passed over the dragon's head. He almost hit the huge fireball above that had not yet extinguished. Change to the dragon-slaying great sword. Accompanied by a dazzling fire. A flashy single-edged broadsword appeared in the hands of the thorny guy. The blade was like a door panel, and the back and handle of the blade were all red, with fine dragon scales. There were some fiery red magic crystals inlaid between the dragon scales. This was a sword specially made by the magic world for slaying dragons. It was very popular with those who took on dragon-related tasks. Especially those who had the magic of changing swordsmen. And this thorny guy was like that. Under the threat of his cold blade. The dragon, which was originally a little dizzy, immediately woke up with a start. Ha ha ha. Too late. Explosive flame dragon slashing wave. Boom. The terrifying flames burst out from the back of the dragon-slaying sword. A flash of cold light. Dang. Accompanied by a crisp high cry. A blood mark appeared on the slender neck of the fire dragon, and the blood spurted out a fine column of blood. Inferior guy. Sure enough. The sound of the dragon gritting its teeth and the voice of the thorny guy sounded at the same time. Chapter 1024 Ace is happy to help others, is his fighting power fake? Ha ha ha. You brought so many guys here and you have the nerve to say that others are inferior. The thorny guy also laughed when he heard the dragon's low words. Don't talk nonsense, there are other dragons coming. Following the leader's mental transmission. Others moved faster. Hwalala. The last green-haired man in the four-man team that attacked the fire dragon used all his strength. 4 S-level magic books with black covers were suspended behind him. Magic the guidebook kept turning pages automatically. As the pages of the magic book turned, one after another, huge black magic circles rose from the feet of the dragon from bottom to top. Dark erosion. Dark imprisonment. Dark swamp. Dark binding ring. As the magic of various dark systems was unleashed, the fire dragon watched the blackness stain its body, making it heavy, the magic power running jerky, and its defense seemed to be reduced. The neck, tail, and limbs were all covered with black rings. There were also groups of black mist like mud covering most of its body. Anyway, it felt that the whole dragon was not well now. Seeing the other 3 people next to it staring at it covetously, the fire dragon only felt that there was a capital letter of danger hanging on its head. You damn guys! Boom! Feeling in danger, the fire dragon began to explode. The terrifying magic power began to rise and explode on its body. Even the dark magic could not stop its exploding magic power and began to be exhausted. This fire dragon is close to SS level. Be careful. Hearing the message from the leader, the thorny guy smiled. It's okay. We are not vegetarians either. Even though the leader reminded him, few people in this team were afraid. As wizards who specialize in dragon-related tasks, they are the elite among the elite wizards. Due to the existence of the time virtual realm, many wizards have already upgraded their awakened magic to the limit of their qualifications. In this case, they often learn another magic to improve their combat power. When the magic power has been upgraded to the limit, learning other magic only requires focusing on improving the magic level. Among them, the costume change magic is a popular choice for many wizards. The thorny guy is a flame wizard, and he also learns the costume change magic swordsman. This magic can greatly enhance sword magic equipment. When using a fire sword, the prickly guy felt that he was stronger than ever. Even if he had to fight the fire dragon in front of him alone, well, he would definitely die decently. Boom! When the prickly guy carried a big sword and attacked with the bearded uncle and the shield man. A farther and higher mountain. A magic circle appeared on the mountain. A tightly closed blue bronze door rose from the magic circle. Clang clang. Squeak. Accompanied by a heavy sound. The bronze door was pushed open from the inside, and a group of figures walked out one after another. Finally, we are here. This is the star representing the Silver Star Palace, right? A black-haired boy with freckles on his face followed the crowd out. He looked at the surrounding scene with great excitement. The surrounding mountains and green forests. In the distance, a large plain where dragons were fighting and a figure fighting a giant dragon on a mountaintop. Look! Someone is fighting a dragon over there. What? Ace, do you still want to go over and help? A man with a gentle smile on his face looked at Ace, who was eager to move, and asked with some amusement. Of course, Uncle Hua Shaishan. Didn't Grandpa always tell me to help others? Now that I see others in trouble, I must go over to help. Ace said while turning his wrist. He felt that he could no longer control his blazing power. Before, when he followed everyone to the battlefield over at the Bronze Star Palace, many of them were A-dragons. Although they were tough to fight, it was not enough to satisfy him after all. Now there is a fire dragon that looks very strong in front of him. He really wants to verify his achievements in the past 6 months. You'd better not go over and cause trouble. I know that group. It's a big guild called Sun Mu. Specializes in accepting missions related to dragon trees. They are professional when it comes to giant dragons, and there are several S-class wizards in it. It's relatively easy to deal with an S-class fire dragon. Seeing Hua Shaishan holding him, Ace's little face curled slightly. Tisk. You talk so much, but you're still here to find giant dragons. You're probably not even in the top 100 if you hang out in a place like this. Hearing Ace's rather complaining words, Hua Shaishan took a big puff of the cigarette. Then he rubbed Ace's head with his big hand. What a strong smell of cigarettes. My hair is all stained with cigarettes. Sorry. Your hair feels good, so I pinched it a few more times. With Ace rolling his eyes, Hua Shaishan apologized with a very insincere smile. Then, he looked at the plain in the distance, which was mostly blocked by the mountain, and his smiling eyes opened slightly. The faint red glow shone in his eyes. I sensed it. There are many dragons moving over there. If the Sun Mu Guild is slower, it will be troublesome later. Aren't you a magma wizard? When did your perception become so strong? Ace stared at the plain in the distance with wide eyes, and could only feel the magic power of random mixture. No more will do. After all, he only learned magic for half a year. Even if there is Skyfire to help him. But he has never used the time virtual realm in such a short time. It is already amazing that he can understand a little bit of the complex magic of extreme fire magic. It is impossible to be comprehensive. In fact, even for extreme fire magic, Ace only learned the castrated version, with the heat of the flame as the core. As for burning, it only involves the most basic. Even so, Ace, who has just entered the A-level magician, is already amazing in the same level. If the perception is not good, the fire power can make up for it. You really underestimated me. I am an S-level magician after all. I can't even have this little perception. Is that so? Looking at Hua Shaishan's smiling face, Ace looked a little suspicious. He always felt that the uncle in front of him was a little bit wrong. Forget it. In that case, we should go over to support. No need, someone has already gone. And he's an SS class wizard. He seems to be very powerful among SS class wizards. Hey! Hearing Hua Shaishan say this, Ace was full of questions. How can an S-class wizard sense the actions of an SS class wizard? Ace remembered Tianhuo's evaluation of his half-year achievements, saying that he had the initial combat power of an SS class wizard. But now he didn't feel anything. Was his S-class combat power fake? Chapter 1025 The Fishman Who Exploded at the Slightest Touch, Assassinating Yuji. On the other side, the leader of Sun Mu Guild also felt something was wrong. The dragon on the plain moved too fast. Before he could react, it surrounded him all at once. Miscalculated. The roar of the fire dragon just now alarmed too many giant dragons. We have too little experience in such large-scale battlefields. Give up that fire dragon first and prepare to break through. We will replan the battle after evacuating. Hearing the spirit of the president, the other teams were all preparing quickly. Only the team responsible for the fire dragon, the troublemaker in it, was unwilling to give up. He looked at the fire dragon that was obviously about to collapse and felt a little unwilling. President, give us a little more time. This fire dragon is about to die. In this kind of worldwide live event, an S-level fire dragon was killed with one move. Our guild will definitely become famous. There will be more forces looking for us to entrust in the future. Hearing the words of the troublemaker, the president's originally anxious mood suddenly wavered. He made a decision after only thinking for 3 seconds. Now that the great demon director Wu has a god of heaven as a guarantee, it can be said that there is no danger to his life. In this situation, the priority is to make the guild famous. With fame and solid record, those forces will give them tasks with rich rewards and easier to do. After all, the competition for seizing the dragon tree is still very fierce. Okay, Other teams cover Team 2, Team 2 goes to assist Team 1 and quickly solve the fire dragon. I will use the guild's strategic resources as appropriate. Hearing the president's words, many guild members also put their hearts at ease. The so-called guild strategic resources are rare props purchased with the accumulated guild funds, mostly disposable props. These props have decisive strategic significance for battles and even battlefields. Generally stored in the guild magic warehouse of the Night Eye Chamber of Commerce. When going to battle, the president or the person designated by the president will take out some props and use them to ensure the mission and the lives of guild members. After various magic prop making skills and magic scroll creation skills have rapidly developed and prevailed through the time virtual realm, this model has been widely popularized in major magic guilds. With strategic resources as a backup, it can also play a role in stabilizing the hearts of guild members when they fight. Just like this time, many members of Sunmyo Guild quickly changed their targets according to the command of the president. Even if there was a dragon approaching quickly in the distance, they just pretended not to see it. Soon, the second team, which was originally engaged in clearing the A-level dragon's followers, directly freed up their hands. Although the second team was not an S-level wizard, but they were all outstanding among the A-level wizards. With mutual cooperation and prop support, they were still capable of intervening in the battle of the first team. At least their actions were like the last straw that broke the camel's back, making it impossible for the fire dragon to continue to wait for other dragons to support. However, facing the fire dragon that could not hold on, all the besieged members did not take it lightly, but became more cautious. On the sea, as we all know, you must not take it lightly when fighting against fire enemies, especially dragons, because they really explode at a touch. When you can't beat them at all, fire dragons often give their enemies a surprise. Spontaneous combustion, explosion, suicide mode, etc. are common. If you underestimate the enemy, you may be taken away by the fire dragon in one wave. Boom! After a while, in the eyes of everyone as expected, the fire dragon that could not hold on really exploded. Boom! The extremely turbulent red flames burst and erupted on it, and the powerful magic power was more wantonly displayed. The dark magic shrouding it was also burned out by the extremely explosive flames. The majestic dragon eyes were completely blazing. Everyone who was stared at by the fire dragon had the illusion of being burned. You damn guys! Stop talking! You dragons keep repeating these two lines. Aren't you tired? Watching the dragon start the final stage, the thorny guy said impatiently while carrying the dragon-slaying sword. Dark Quartet Imprisonment. A team of green-haired wizards didn't waste any words. The 4 dark magic books were rearranged, and the 3 magic books were arranged in a triangle with one of them as the core. The magic of one of the magic books was specially strengthened at the expense of functionality. Such magic can't be burned out all at once even if the fire dragon explodes now. Swish! Giant black magic arrays flashed on the fire dragon. It forced the magic power of its body to be imprisoned and restrained. The flames bursting on its surface seemed to be dimmed a little because of this. Good opportunity. The thorny guy wielded the dragon-slaying sword and quickly stepped forward. Faster than him was the shield man who raised the shield. He swung the shield to physically stun the dragon. The other besiegers also attacked quickly. Not good. When many of them went up to attack, the leader of the team felt something was wrong. Sure enough, the next moment, an overwhelming explosion rushed out directly. The illusion dissipated. Before the explosion swallowed everyone, a flash of white light directly enveloped the bursting and expanding flames. Then the explosion was like a bubble bursting, as if it had never appeared. However, several guild members who were close to the explosion were still a little frightened. They looked at each other and could see the relief in each other's eyes. The crisis is over. Prepare to retreat. The president's mental message was sent to all members present. The voice he transmitted was painful. Because the white light just now was the strategic resource of the guild he released. It was an SS-level magic scroll, and it was also a very rare illusory attribute. 527 was made by the Navy's magic forbidden Rosinante, who controlled the illusory 12 magic secrets. The price was as high as tens of billions of Baileys. Of course, the price was one thing. The most important thing was that this thing was very rare, and you couldn't buy it even if you had money. Even he only had this one scroll, and it would be gone after it was used up. However, this time it was broadcast live to the world. In order to leave a good impression of being reliable and professional, it had to be used. If there were no casualties, the effect of this battle would be greatly reduced. Ha ha ha. The president is still reliable at critical moments. Other dragons are coming, and our team will cover the rear later. You go first. We know it without you saying it. The people in the second team and others quickly took out a blue magic book. As the pages of the magic book turned, a cyan magic circle flashed over them. A pair of cyan elemental wings spread out behind them. We'll retreat first, you hold on, don't die. Kirita. Idiot. I'm an S-class magician. I won't die even if you die. Wait a minute. Someone is coming. When many guild members were preparing to retreat, the president stopped everyone's actions. He looked at the tall figure that suddenly appeared in front of them, and a look of surprise appeared on his face. That's Aurora Hody Jones, the fishman who failed to assassinate Ruo Shuiyuji. Chapter 1026 Brother Ming feels weird, Nirvana's theory. It appeared. It turned out to be him. On the other side of the hill, Hua Shaishan, holding a big cigarette in his mouth, looked at the figure that appeared in front of Sunmyo Guild and others, and his face was also a little surprised. Who is that guy? Why do you feel that everyone seems to be a little bit repulsive to him? Ace looked at the slightly frowned faces of the other navy officers and asked Hua Shaishan with some curiosity. Ace still had a good impression of the fishman who appeared, because he could vaguely feel an extremely warm magic from the fishman. That feeling reminded him of Mr. Rossinandi. Hot Jones was once the trump card of Eve, one of the officials of the Magic Pattern Association. He is an extremely powerful SS-level magic pattern user with terrible hateful magic. But nearly a year ago, he assassinated Princess Odo Him from Fishman Island to obtain the secret of the extreme water magic. After failing, he was banished by Eve's president Lei Yu and disappeared. Hearing Ace's doubts, a vice admiral next to him briefly explained the origin of Hot Jones. Then he added with a complicated expression. 2 months ago, he appeared under the command of Yaki Kyo, his personality changed drastically, and he became an extremely powerful SS-class wizard. According to Yaki Kyo, this man has turned over a new leaf and made a new start. In the future, he will focus on benefiting the world. Hearing what the vice admiral said, Ace felt like he was listening to a story. Then he nodded. I know this. There are always villains in comics who are whitewashed and suddenly turn over a new leaf and become enlightened. But many villains become weaker after being whitewashed. Quite a few. Wow! That guy is so powerful. At this time, Ace said and suddenly became excited. Because he saw the figure in the distance moving. All the dragons and dragon followers who gathered around were covered by the white magic circle. Then, white light appeared on their bodies, like dazzling light bulbs. Crack! The bodies of the dragons and dragon followers were cracking. White light beams penetrated their bodies and penetrated their bodies. Boom! Finally, with a strange sound, they slowly broke and dissipated. So powerful! At the scene, a young man from the Sunmyo Guild also said this. Everyone, are you okay? Seeing the fierce man in front of him turn around and greet them, President Sunmyo was quick-witted and hurried forward with a big smile. It's okay, thank you. What a fate! I didn't expect to meet Aurora Hody of the Yaki cult here. Before President Sunmyo could finish his words, a loud laugh interrupted his subsequent words. The helmsman of the North Sea New World Alliance, Doflamingo. Seeing the figure that suddenly appeared in the sky and slowly descended from above, President Sunmyo felt that his luck was very good. By the way, he found a star and met 2 monsters. Doflamingo, what are you doing here? Looking at Minga who suddenly appeared, Hody's original smile was put away, and he became a little solemn. Da-da-da. Your expression, do you mean you don't welcome me? Hody Jones. After landing from the sky, Doflamingo walked arrogantly, ignoring the Sunmyo Guild and walked in front of Hody. He looked Hody up and down. A white magic robe with aqua blue patterns, holding a magic book in his hand. This dress and expression made Minga feel much more pleasing to the eye than before. Compared to before, you look much more pleasing to the eye. You know, your attitude was so arrogant when we met before. Hearing Minga say so, Hody's face showed an embarrassed expression. Sorry, I was too persistent before. Hearing Hody's apology, Doflamingo couldn't help but laugh with his hands wide open. Hey, hey, hey! You actually apologized. It's incredible. I heard that your personality has changed a lot, and now I see it's true. Reform evil and return to the right path. It is valued by the Nirvana Guild. Most of the wizards who make up this guild are experimenters of Nirvana magic. These wizards who turned from evil to good believe that they are doing a great cause. The mission is to purify the evil of the world and provide a steady stream of talents for the magic world. Due to the special nature of this dark guild, the attitude of the magic world towards it has always been quite subtle. Many wizards with more upright personalities applaud it. Some rational people believe that Nirvana distorts personality and is a very evil magic. This essence cannot be ignored just because Nirvana's mission sounds beautiful. Of course, in Minga's view, that is a group of crazy people with crazy brains. However, if there is a Yaki cult behind it, it is very easy to explain. Hody in front of him is most likely the experiment of that magic. Although you look much better in appearance, but your magic makes me feel sick. You are worthy of being the representative of the hatred of the fishman. Ming Ji felt the benevolent magic of Hody, with an ambiguous smile on his face. Hody used to be an extremely powerful SS-level magic pattern user, with extremely pure hatred magic, which represented the hatred in his heart. But now, after being reversed, this pure evil became too dazzling, making him feel sick. But apart from this, Ming Ji had to admit, the evil forbidden magic of Nirvana may have its merits. After all, the disabled Hody became a high-level SS-level wizard less than a year after disappearing. And his magic is also extremely powerful. It is like the power of light. Some people even say that this magic can be comparable to the four-element extreme magic, so it makes Hwadi got the nickname of Aurora. Hwadi's strength made Minga see the merits of Nirvana. He was thinking about intervening in the Dark Guild through Mookie in the future. This magic can be used to train a group of external talents. There are too many evil people in the North Sea. This is the easiest to do. Unlike the forbidden magic of the furnace, it has many restrictions and high costs.